Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. President William Ruto read the Riot Act on his cabinet secretary, stating that they must deliver on their responsibilities. The president said that his leadership cannot tolerate negligence, since his manifesto must be delivered to Kenyans. This, as Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said, that this is the time to show the difference between their leadership and that of retired President Uhuru Kenyatta's government.
Kuna msemo wa Kiswahili inasema kuna mtu amepata kazi na kuna kazi imepata mtu. Hivi karibuni mtajionea ni ipi.
Rais amepanga kazi na imepangika, na mtaona matunda yake. Na mimi President, I want to encourage you, ujipangie kazi yako. Hii kazi yako rais usiwachie mtu, utakwama. Ile serikali imeondoka ilikwama kwa sababu kulikosa mtu ya kupanga kazi.
The president also said that the government will send 360 more police reservists to Laikipia County to deal with livestock theft, which has contributed to insecurity in the county.
Tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutaongeza wale National Police Reserve 360, wengine wataungana na nyinyi in the next few months. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba tunadhibiti mambo ya usalama. Na vile vile tumekubaliana ya kwamba mbali na kuwa na National Police Reserve, wale ranchers wote wa hapa tutaketi chini na wao, pia tupangane na wao, kila rancher afanye fencing. Tupange na watu wa Kenya Wildlife Service, mahali tunahitaji ua tuweke ua, ndio tuweze kuzuia wanyama wasiwe wanaharibu mimea yenu na kuumiza wananchi.
The governors have called for the review of 9 laws and executive orders which they say are a clawback on devolution. The county bosses said that the laws are in conflict with the constitution and require review for counties to undertake their mandate effectively. The legislations include the Cooperative Societies Act, the National Health Insurance Fund Act, Kenya Medical Supplies Authority Act, National Construction Authority Act, Agriculture and Food Authority Act, Tea and Coffee Regulations, the Energy Act, Water Act, Environment Management and Coordination Act. Speaking during the cabinet retreat in Nyeri, Council of Governors Chair Ann Waiguru also cited 3 executive orders under the State Corporations Act, which established the Kenya National Public Health Institute, National Syndemic Disease Control Authority, Kenya Tissue and Plant Authority. Also, as stifling smooth implementation of devolution, the governors have further called for the restructuring of the regional development authorities and semi-autonomous government agencies that undertake county government functions. Now, 10 people are admitted to various hospitals in Kisii County following an anthrax outbreak in Sugubo Village, Bobasi constituency, a border in Kisii and Trans Nzoia in our county. The outbreak was reported last week, where at least 10 animals were confirmed dead. That is Transmara in Narok County, not Trans Nzoia. Agriculture County Executive Margaret Obaga said at least 10 cows died, increasing the fatalities to 13. The county has deployed more veterinary officers to the region to carry out a free vaccination campaign to mitigate further deaths. And the Kenya Railways has announced that the Madaraka Express passenger service train will start intermediate stops in Voi beginning February 1st, 2023. The agency disclosed that passengers aboard the 3 p.m. Madaraka Express train from Mombasa and Nairobi termini can board and alight the train at Voi station. Consequently, the Mombasa to Nairobi afternoon express train will now arrive at Voi station at 4:38 p.m. and depart at 4:43 p.m. while the Nairobi Mombasa afternoon express train will arrive at Voi station at 6:48 p.m. and depart at 6:53 p.m. The Mombasa to Nairobi train will complete the journey at 8:18 p.m. with the Nairobi to Mombasa train completing its journey at 8:30 p.m. And police in Teso South Busia County have launched investigations into the death of a 66-year-old man who was allegedly murdered by his brother's son over a land dispute at Asit village in Teso South constituency over the weekend. The body of the man, who has since been identified as Bisancio Opili, was found along a pathway near his home after he was allegedly killed using a machete by his 22-year-old stepson, Kevin Omusolo. According to Taso South Sub-County Police Commander Stephen Kimunya, the matter was reported by the chief of Apagay location, Moritz Nyakol, who called the police at the scene of the incident. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
The Spice Newswire is brought to you by Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. Go ahead and get yours today. It's your time.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
You know, when you see someone being jailed, a governor or two or someone who stole, then people will fear. Because our problem is not the borrowing, it's the stealing.
We've become actually a nation of thieves. The only thing we lack is an opportunity to steal.
The guys who quote the Bible and say I'm a Christian and all that, and you know they're thieves. Return what you have stolen 4 times. If you know that you have property or anything that you have stolen, just return and say, my God does not allow me to hold stolen things.
We are also a reflection of you, because you elect us. You know, we don't get into our office by ourselves. We are a reflection of the people who elect us.
We don't want to go to the streets. We have a constitution that enables us, assert our will.
When the legislators are now being taken as hostage by the executive for whatever reason, we are now bound by what they want us to do.
This is just outside the realms of reality. We have impunity written into the DNA of our political class.
How old were you when you learned that Jeshi Lokop is Jeshi Lawokov?
I can't say it very well. No, Jeshi Lokop.
And everyone knows. Okay.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
All right, starting off Monday morning, and it looks like it is going to be a busy day. Jago Road is already spilling over with traffic, and we're seeing some of that coming out onto Landis Road, and Langata is also peaking at you, saying that there's going to be some traffic there this morning. On the Thika Superhighway, a little bit here and there, nothing too tumultuous at the moment, but we're looking at Uhuru Highway starting to pack up as well. It's free on James Gishuru, going out towards Wayaki Way. Coming out of Westlands, we will see some traffic. It's that week where folks are getting back into the swing of things. See how things pan out this morning. Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods on SpiceFM KE on Twitter, and try to keep things moving this morning.
Spice FM. Spice up your life. This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room.
Good morning.
The
How are
only
you
way
doing?
to start
Happy
your
Monday.
day.
Welcome to Monday, the 9th day of January 2023. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. How was your weekend, Siti Muga?
The weekend was very good.
It was, huh? You did your usual thing.
Now, my man, you have got it. Yes.
Chilling.
You have understood it perfectly. So it was a beautiful weekend. Yes.
That's good.
Recharged.
That's good. What are you doing? Reading or watching? Or both?
Reading. Then watched two movies. Yes. Most of the time I was reading. Yes.
Good stuff. Ndu?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was all right.
Okay, what did you do? It's all right. Don't tell us everything. Just, broadly.
Broadly speaking. Broad strokes.
Generally.
I also read.
Books.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Books and situations.
I'm actually wondering, Eric, what else could she possibly read?
Situations.
Apart from tea leaves and entrails, yes.
Wow.
Could have been reading minds.
Yeah.
You had a good one?
It was all right.
Very good.
And yourself?
Mine was good as well. Yeah. Easy, relaxed.
Well done.
Yes. Welcome to the new one. The new week. We'll be discussing several things today, shan't we?
Yes, we will.
So, number one is MCAs in Meru County having meetings now with the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, and members of Parliament, and members of the Senator, not members of the Senate, the Senator. And then apparently they'll later have a meeting with their governor. So the man who moved a motion to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza is the MCA for Abogeta West in Meru County, Dennis Kiogora. He will be here with us at 7 a.m. to talk to us about the intrigues in Meru County. What is it that's happening in Meru? And what does he see as a solution and the way forward? What's the best way of handling Meru County and ensuring that the people of Meru get the services for which they elected their leaders? 7 a.m., that's the conversation. At 8 o'clock, let's talk about a conversation that took place over the weekend, right? So there was this gruesome murder of an LGBTQ activist who was a student in Eldoret. His body found in a box that had been dumped somewhere, and immediately there was local and international outcry. This was a hate crime. Investigators are now saying it's actually pointing more and more towards something else. Is a love triangle or love gone bad.
Love rhombus.
And so what this entire conversation, let's have it today. We'll be joined by an activist, an LGBTQ activist called David Njane, fighting for the rights of LGBTQ people in Kenya. What is it that the people who came out to immediately condemn this and brand it as hate and saying it is, some of them were saying that this one reflects what else is happening in the society.
Yeah.
So what else is happening in the society? Even if this one doesn't turn out to be a crime of homophobia, what exactly is happening in the society? Do we have homophobia in Kenya? And is it happening? So that is the conversation that we'll be having at 8 a.m. So now,
yes.
Tell us about COVID.
All right. So one new COVID case in Kenya over the last 24 hours from a sample size of 303. That's less than 1% in terms of a positivity rate. There's not been so much that has been found in terms of COVID positive cases. So Kenya is really looking at low numbers here. The Ministry of Health continues and says, look, come out and get vaccinated. That one case was in Nairobi. And so here we are. And that's what it looks like when the rest of the world is scrambling about concerning the new COVID variant. They're saying it's most transmissible yet. The most transmissible variant yet is the XBB.1.5. And it says it could fuel a COVID wave, but we're seeing this in the western part of the world. 3 years after it emerged, a new variant is quickly becoming the dominant strain in parts of the US because of a potent mix of mutations that makes it easier to spread broadly, including among those who've been previously infected or vaccinated. And this is the issue that you're seeing now. Those who have been previously infected, been healed of COVID, been vaccinated as many times as they ought to be, are the ones who are getting this. And it's spreading quickly with some severe symptoms. So it's like the Uber variant of COVID, and it doesn't look good. They're saying it's the most transmissible according to the World Health Organization, and it is a quick descendant of the Omicron variant, and it rose from barely 2% of US cases at the start of December to more than 27% in the first week of January, according to estimates by the CDCs. More than 70% of the cases in the northeastern part of the US are believed to be XBB.1.5. It's a bit scary.
What about the deaths caused by this new variant?
While there is no evidence so far that it's more virulent than its predecessors, a recent swirl of misinformation linking the rise of new variants to vaccination has cast a spotlight on the latest strain and raised concern amongst healthcare experts. They have not seen a high rise of deaths due to this, but they have seen serious symptoms.
Wow. Okay. It's 17 minutes after 6. We are live streaming the show. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, and we also have conversations going on Twitter. Good morning. Where are you locked in from today? Let us know. We will be doing our usual thing, which is acknowledging your presence after we take a look at the weather forecasts.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
I know the sun is out in Nairobi at least. As you tembea, be careful. Manchester United are trying to sign anyone. Watch out where your children are. Please hide yourselves.
Sugar and spice!
I reached a point where suicide things were just going south completely. Something stopped me.
Nairobi.
Cloudy conditions in Nairobi this Monday morning, highs of 26 and lows of 15. It's cloudy at 14 in Nakuru, highs of 26. And we'll see highs of 24 in a cloudy Nyeri at 11. It's 12 degrees and cloudy in Eldoret, highs of 24. And we'll see highs of 32 in a mostly clear Mombasa at 25. We're looking at 25 and cloudy as well in Malindi, highs of 32. And highs of 28 in Kisumu, where it's clear at 19. It's 15 and cloudy in Kakamega, highs of 28. And looking into Kampala, it's clear at 21. We'll see highs of 27. 31 will be the high in a cloudy Dar es Salaam at 26. And we're looking at mostly clear conditions at 15 in Johannesburg with highs of 26 as well. It's clear for a change in Lagos at 26, highs of 33 and lows of 24. In Kinshasa, it's cloudy this morning at 24, going to highs of 28 and lows of 23. It's 7 degrees, warming up ever so slightly in Beijing, highs of 8 and lows of -8. And it's 8 degrees and cloudy in Paris with highs of 9 and lows of 5. Looking into a cloudy London, it's 7 degrees. We'll see highs of 9 and lows of 5 as well. Sunday night reads 4 and cloudy in New York. That'll be the high coming into Monday, and lows of 2.
Chilled Spice. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings.
Okay, it's now 20 minutes after 6.
Hey. Okay. Michael Josephat, why are you angry now this morning? Not even 7 o'clock. People are angry. Why? Michael Josephat Kerewa says nothing like a great nation. This is just a lost, confused nation with no vision. Hey! He's tuning from Kajiado. What's happening?
Okay.
Sorry, Bas.
Okay.
Asman Jr. says, good morning, Eric Ndru Oko and Mr. Muga. Locked in from Kina Nye in Athi River. Okay. I have a problem. You said that we should stop talking about excessive discussions on LGBTQ. I think you've also got the numbers, or rather the letters mixed up there, but all right. Dennis Sige says Kisumu is locked. Good morning. Vincent Ogutu is tuning from Kiambu County. And good morning, Victor. Another Victor says, Tafadhali, update us on the situation in China. How far? As in COVID? Or what? John Amasangole says good morning. Luke Ochele says good morning. My favorite show, Karibu Sana. Thank you. Good morning from Kisumu. That's where Joseph is. And Eric Nyamao is tuned in as well. Daktari Henry Ochoki is tuned in from Itibo in Kisi County. DJ Tom Rez is tuned from Vihiga. And good morning from Makutano in Meru. Nyakundi says. Andrew Franklin says, back to business. Good morning indeed. Karibu Sana. And tuned in from Busia is where Sir Bramwell Boke Kedi is tuned in this morning. Many, many more of you online. Kevin Wangoe. Gobsri is tuning from Dallas in Texas. And Robertson Bogo says, good morning. Wilskin Gobsri says, good morning, Nduan gang. Awesome day. Waiting expectantly. Sounds pregnant. Okay. Charles Njenga is tuned in from Vita, and Odera Jr. is tuned in from the Great Wall of Kino. In freezing Toronto, Canada is where Mukhana is. And Kim Wilford is tuning from St. Louis in Missouri. We see all of you this morning. Karibu Sana, thanks for joining us.
Everybody, welcome. It's Monday, the day after Sunday, the day after the season premiere of The Last Door by John Alanam, which aired last night on Maisha Magic Plus. Did you miss it? Probably because, one, you have not subscribed to DSTV, but if you have and you forgot, next Sunday, 8 p.m., it'll be there. The Last Door is the first local true crime documentary series hosted by John Alan Namu. The objective of this series is to reveal hidden or unacknowledged truths about infamous crimes perpetrated in Kenya. The first one yesterday was about Tekra Muigai's death. Was it an accident? What was her state of mind before she died? And all that. It aired last night. Make sure you don't miss out. It's an 8-part series, so you have 7 episodes to go. City, you have the day's proverb.
I do.
Today we are not in Bini.
No, we are in, well, it's pronounced Lesotho, but it's pronounced Lesu.
It is pronounced Lesotho,
but
it's
spelled Lesotho.
What did I say?
You said pronounced.
That's what I said.
That's what you said.
I meant it the other way around.
Voila.
Okay. Yeah. It is pronounced Lesotho.
Yes.
Okay.
But it is written?
Lesotho.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
A very interesting country because it's bang in the middle of South Africa.
It's surrounded by South Africa.
It's an island.
It's an island of land.
Of land. It's I mean, right bang, 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 bang in the middle. Interesting history, though. What you call a constitutional monarchy. But the turbulence that this country has gone through, we're talking about from the 1800s, they are among the communities in southern part of Africa that actually won a war against the Boers. They had a king. The name, if you were to pronounce it using the English language, will be Moshushu, but I'm certain.
Moshoe. But now that they actually even write Lesotho and they say Lesotho, how do you pronounce the king's name? Is it really Moshoe?
I don't think so.
Could be something different.
Mosheshe. But in the
good mean.
Funny people, you. Now, in the course of the week, I will answer all those questions.
All right. Okay.
The capital is called Maseru. Okay. The population isn't really that big. According to the 2021 indications, just around 2.3 million in total. Okay.
The entire population of not Maseru, but the entire country.
The entire population of the entire country.
Okay.
As I said, they're not very many. Now, the interesting thing about the economy, well, it's supposed to be agricultural, but most of the income is actually from remittances, because if they're surrounded by South Africa, it means very many of the citizens actually work in South Africa and send money back in. Yes. Again, as I said, more to come.
All right.
All right. Proverb number 1. Cattle are born with ears. Horns grow later.
Cattle are born with ears. Horns grow later.
So?
Sour.
Okay.
It's a clear one.
Clear?
Yes, it's a clear one. The meaning, though, is what will be
interesting to discuss.
Discuss. All right, so let's take a look at the newspaper headlines, and as we do that, do remind us about school fees.
School fees, I know everybody's looking for it right about now. Well, Kiwi saying step up and shine, and you have an opportunity to walk into any of your supermarkets this morning, any day, and pick up a tin of a Kiwi black shoe polish. Under the lid, once you've paid, under the lid, there is a code which you will then send after you dial *459*5#. You're going to win airtime or bundles immediately. And then you also get a chance to enter into the draw where weekly one will win 35,000 shillings going towards school fees. You have until the 7th of February. So walk into, get it done. You're going to buy it anyway, right? So do this and have an opportunity to get some school fees. Please do it. Step up and shine with Kiwi.
Very good. What's on the front pages?
Ryla stirs Azimio with Uhuru claims. Okay. Okay, we'll look into that later. Budget, hard reality facing Kenya Kwanzaa. And then there are 9 laws that are bad for devolution, apparently. Okay, Kenya shines in children protection. There's a special report on that. And then the murders, the trouble in Kisii. Latest murders in Kisii and Nyeri have caused an uproar with the community dumbfounded. Leaders are concerned that mental illnesses are high and community needs concerted efforts to curb it.
Wow.
Today, I have the Business Daily.
Uh-huh.
And on the front page, Safaricom reveals tax fears in plan to hive off M-Pesa. And
tax fears?
Yes.
They fear that they'll pay more tax or that they'll pay less tax. What is it?
I don't know. Look into the story and tell you. Okay. Safaricom is wary that the Kenya Revenue Authority might use the current tax laws to hit it with taxes such as the capital gains tax if it goes ahead with the internal reorganization process to split M-Pesa from its telco business. To compose ça?
Yes.
If they split, we can be hit with another tax.
Just that movement alone. Then those guys come and say there's a capital gains tax.
So we need it. All right. So there's more. KTDA reinstates Ketepa boss on court directive. So, of course, there's also the story in the Standard which talks about tea reforms remain a big mirage. And there's still stuff going on here in the tea sector. So we'll look into that later as well.
Okay.
And, yeah.
I have the Nation.
Voila.
All these courtesy of CT's guys.
CT's guy.
We're
Shout
shining.
out to CT's guy.
We're shining. The headline of the Daily Nation today, Ruto's power play. President concluded a 3-day meeting with senior members of the executive in a takeoff mode. President William Ruto's decision to clarify the roles of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Prime CS Musalia Mudavadi and allocate each office a state department to support their coordination work could see the leaders sticking to their respective dockets and averting friction. What are these jobs? Rigathi Gachagua's job is to oversee the working relationship between the national and county government through Council of Governors. Musalia Mudavadi's job is to oversee the working relations between Parliament and the executive. Justin Muturi, the Attorney General's job is to improve relations between the national government and the judiciary. So he has told them, Wewe, focus. You, Rigathi, don't talk about MPs. You, Musalia, don't talk about governors. You, AG Muturi, just
do AG things.
Just do AG stuff.
Okay.
So, that is the front page. Then there's also another story here. Protest over old trucks ban, which is also on the back page of the Nation today. Only trucks 3 years old or less will be allowed in the country from this month.
Sorry, what?
Kabisa. Tumewakamata.
No.
Rewind. What?
Kenya has started enforcing vehicle importation restrictions, with the Revenue Authority crushing dozens of unclaimed vehicles and those that have not met the age limits. There's a ban on importation of trucks of up to 30 tons older than 3 years ostensibly to comply with the Transport, Climate and Clean Air Coalition's Global Sulfur Strategy. Starting this month, only tractor heads and prime movers not older than 3 years from the year of first registration will be allowed into the country, but only up to June 30th, after which no used tractor heads and prime movers will be imported. We're basically saying import newer or get them assembled locally. We'll look at that in detail shortly. The other headlines in the nation today: big CBC test for schools. Will be assessed to establish their capacity before they are allowed to host junior secondary schools. There's another headline here: arsonist who killed 7 family members missed target. I'll give you the details.
Sheesh.
What's in the Star City?
Well, the Star headline says 2. Bring back BBI or forget changing law. Raila to Ruto. Bold black bang in the middle.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute.
Right?
You started with 2. You said 2.
Yes, there are 2. So you start with 1 first.
2 what?
2 headlines.
2 headlines of interest. I'm speaking Kenyanese here. Okay, let me now speak in the English language. There are 2 remarkable headlines in the Star this morning. The first one is as follows. Is that okay now?
Yes.
All right, there are 2. Bring back BBI or forget changing law. Raila to Ruto.
Kabisa.
That's the first one.
The
second one, right-hand corner as always. This is about a certain injection. Relief as Kenyan makes better drug to manage hepatitis B. Yes. He talks about, a plan, research at Moi University, together with partners from the University of Nebraska Medical Center, who've been working on a hepatitis B.
Short.
Yes, exactly. Okay, you know hepatitis, there are 5 kinds. A, B, C, D, E. Okay? Right. Now, again, I will give you more details in the quiet by and by.
Very good. 27 minutes to 7. Let's take a break, then take a look at the traffic, and then we will look at those headlines in greater detail shortly.
The man who looks at a beautiful girl and doesn't talk to her will end up serving lunch at her wedding.
Aye, City. Do like that.
My father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man?
Ameua panya.
Small mammal, big mammal.
Mtu atamshinda. I mean, I don't answer. What do they say?
How are we comparison? I mean, you kill a mouse.
What do they say?
What they're saying is, my father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man? Name, surprise. Someone's name.
The name surprised you?
No, the name is surprise.
No, what am I saying? I'm from Nigeria, man. I met somebody called I Believe. So
See?
Your name is I Believe? Yes, my name is I Believe. But that's the short form. I said, excuse me? I said, yes. My name is I Believe. So what's the full name? I believe in the goodness of God.
The Situation Room.
All right, the morning is starting out quite busy, it would appear. There's something that's spilling over to the southern bypass, and it's going to take some time to get out of that. There's also some construction that's taking place there, so it slows things down. Folks who are coming off Mombasa Road, and also those who are coming off the Likoni Exchange, you're going to have to wait a little bit as that is being sorted out. Also, Jogo Road is building up, and we're going to see some more action there. Langata Road also started pretty early. We'll see some here as well. Thika Superhighway, yet to get the memo, still stretching into 2023 and waiting, I don't know for what, but look, enjoy it while you can, because there's no traffic there, at least not for now. A little bit as you're heading towards Wangari Maathai Way, and that's coming off of the Pangani underpass. Apart from that, it doesn't look too bad. Still slim pickings in terms of traffic. Wait and see what happens after 7. Just in case, let us know. SpiceFM KE on Twitter.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM.
Pick one of the stories that you had.
Let me tell you, it's on page 10 in the Standard today.
Yeah.
And we have seen with some regularity murders that have been coming out of the particular area. The two latest reported murder incidents in Kisii and Nyeri County have caused an uproar, lifting the lid on organized crime, mental health, and suicide. A man who beheaded his 2 daughters in Kisii will know his mental status today, as police plan to charge him with murder. The incident happened at Kiobegi village in Mombasa County on Friday morning. The 2 were aged 3 and 2. Nyamache OCPD Kip Kulei Kip Kemboy confirmed the incident, saying the suspect was arrested shortly after committing the crime. The body of the missing Nyamira teacher was found on the 1st of January in a house belonging to one of the nurses in the county. Police have identified the deceased as Ezekiel Nkeren Gitangwa, 47, who was reported missing on December 30th. He was last seen at Egiserie village in West Mugirango constituency in Nyeri County, being dropped by a border rider. Police are yet to arrest suspects linked to the murder incident. In 2021, police in Kisii recorded a total of 126 people having been murdered in the county over a period of 1 year. Murdered, 126, 12 months.
What?
Nyamache sub-county recorded the highest number of murders with 18 cases. Kenyenye had 17, Kitutu Central and Masaba South at 15 each. Kisii South recorded 13, Sameta 11, Kisii Central 10, and Itago 7. By late December last year, 72 were pending in various courts, while 44 were being investigated. Police were still pursuing at least 10 suspects in relation to some of the murders. At least 12 people are facing murder charges, while 4 elderly women were lynched in October 2021 on suspicion of practicing witchcraft. The case is still at the hearing stage at the Kisii Law Courts under Justice Rose Ougo. Pastor Peter Morabe of Gospel Embassy Church Kisii said the community needs more counselors and psychologists. The church should also aggressively address the issues of witchcraft. And not as a myth, but as a reality in our area, we appeal to the government to support caregivers and village counsellors as they work on ways of elevating the living standards of the residents. Nominated Senator Essie Okenyuri said all forms of violence against children should never be tolerated in society. I agree. Such outrageous and inhuman action against innocent children is a gross violation of the right to human life as enshrined in the Constitution.
So, the report seems to point towards, a concern over mental wellness.
Yes. I mean, look at what we saw on Friday.
Is there any report indicating what's being done?
No. Right now, we're at the stage of rallying calls from security agencies, police, to, social community, the church, to elders within the community. It's a rallying call at this point. In terms of what has actually been done, nothing yet. I mean, just look at the numbers. This is something that obviously has been growing over time. And then, unfortunately, become more heinous. The case that we saw on Friday of this father and the 2 daughters, no way are you going to tell me that there is nothing wrong with this man who would do this to these 2 children of 3 and 2.
Yeah.
No way.
It brings to memory what former Senator Sylvia Kasanga is now doing, which is seeking the county's partnership with domesticating the mental health law and then coming up with programs that address this.
Yeah.
Because this needs to be a proper concerted effort at national level and at county level. So the county governments also have a program that looks at, all right, so we have this kind of an issue. At what point do we actually start addressing it? Like, at what point does the governor of Kisii County, Simba Arati, say, all right, there's something that's taking place here, there's something that's happening here. How can we come together and address it?
Absolutely. But you know what? And I think this is a clear case of how one of the things that CT talks about all the time. We talk at a problem and talk at it until something becomes unmanageable. Because unfortunately, with something like this, at some point, it will be unmanageable.
Yeah.
At the time whereby you see these numbers rising, and truth be told, what has been reported and maybe what we have seen over time has worsened in nature. By the time you're seeing some of things like this happen, what levels of frustration, what levels of imbalance are you actually seeing amongst people that would then drive them to do the things that they're doing here? There is no justification. Look, and I think we need to be very clear, there is no justification for taking the life of another person. You can't say, well, maybe understand because it was this or that. And that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying here that there has to be a serious escalation of psychological issues for the things that we have seen over the last 1 year here. To what we see on Friday, a 2 and 3-year-old murdered in the manner in which they were by their father. It's more than an eyebrow-raising moment.
Yeah.
And if something is not done, it has to be beyond rallying calls. And this thing that seems so simplistic that this lady was calling for, no, not the lady, the priest was calling for, when he talks about support at that level for counselors, it may seem so simplistic, like, oh, well, he's just saying something for it to sound like something. But it is very important because the issues that people are going through, if not addressed, they escalate to issues now like this.
I don't think the government is actually taking this matter seriously.
It's not.
It set up a
It's
task
not
force.
taking it at
task
all.
force brought back a report and said it's a crisis.
Yes.
The government said, okay, moved on. We're seeing things happen. Nothing is being done to address this crisis.
The thing about mental health, though, has always been that it's one of those very thorny subjects that people don't really want to deal with. When you hear cases of individuals who are mentally challenged being locked up in a room from a very early age, it's the same thing with people who had disabilities for a very long time.
Yep.
And some of them are conditions that can actually be treated.
Absolutely. That can be coped with.
Yes, but there's a stigma around mental health that even at the highest echelons of power in this country, people still revert back to type. And it's like the cultural and social understandings of their upbringing come to the fore when it comes to dealing with a national issue that requires a national intervention. We have trained personnel, we have people who are able to deal with these things. Remember when we had Dr. Luga in the studio and we were talking about what it is that the Nairobi Metropolitan Service had done to ensure that Nairobi County, City County as we know it, had sufficient community health workers.
Yeah.
See, some of these health workers are also trained in mental health management at the community level. But remember, when you have a situation where the basic and fundamental structure of society as we understand it is in the process of breaking down and fragmenting at this rate.
Erosion.
Yes, most people find themselves at sea. They don't really know how to cope with everyday life. Once upon a time, when the structure was intact, you knew what to do and how to cope.
Yeah.
But right now, it's difficult. Right, it's really difficult. Yes,
because just from what you're saying, you take somebody where the majority of the population lives today. It is not in urban Kenya.
No, it isn't.
Where the majority of the population resides in Kenya today. If somebody were to have an issue, like here, if somebody were to have an issue, what is the known clear-cut first port of call? What is it? Do you know? Do you know? If you were not connected to somebody or had the knowledge or wherewithal,
you talk to a relative usually, or talk to a friend if you have a friend.
And that is what we're saying has been eroded right now. So the truth of the matter is that somebody in a situation that is so dire psychologically has nowhere to go, and that is the situation.
Yep.
You know, what we've been seeing continuously and what we keep saying is escalating is a desperate cry for help. No one in their right mind would go about killing their own children or harming. It doesn't happen. No. But when someone does that, you have to ask, what is it that this person has been dealing with or has been harboring to the point where, because this is not the breaking point.
And you do have to ask.
Yes.
And in asking again, it does not justify the act.
No,
It doesn't
not at all.
At all. But you must find out the reason.
Yes.
You must.
You know, even when you talk about some of the bizarre killings that we've referred to as extrajudicial killings, okay? Has sufficient thought been given to the individuals who are tasked with such specific duties in the police force? What sort of people do you choose for these tasks? What's their psychological leaning? And even if that is a psychological leaning, do you consider the effect that this job that they have been given has on them? In the long term, what sort of people do you think they become? And how do you think they relate to the rest of society? Yes, the blame is now going to go to the unit and what they did and how they did it. And again, as you say correctly, Ndu, you cannot justify some of these things, but you have to ask the question, do you know? And do you understand? And do you have anything in place to mitigate? Because if your job is to go around killing other people, it will have an effect on you. It doesn't matter who you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unless you're one of those people who's a sociopath confirmed or a psychopath. So for you, it isn't really an issue. But in that case, then you really do have a mental health issue.
You have an issue.
You have a really big issue.
Work needs to be done and focus taken on this. So 1.2 million learners were in grade 6 and they sat their exam and they had to go to junior secondary school, right?
Yes.
And the government has said junior secondary will be domiciled in the current primary schools. So we are not moving to secondary schools. They will continue in the schools that they are in. However, it's not just automatic like that. Primary schools which lack capacity to domicile junior secondary will not be allowed to host grade 7 students, according to the Ministry of Education. The ministry will instead transfer the students to neighboring institutions. There's a circular by the ministry dated January 6th which says primary schools with an enrollment of less than 45 learners or those lacking the basic facilities to host a JSS will serve as feeder schools to other JSSs within a 2-kilometer proximity in geographically expansive, low density and insecurity prone areas, as well as for learners with special needs and disability. The government will implement affirmative action regardless of the enrollment.
Okay.
Umelewa. Let me continue. The government has therefore directed regional and county education directors to assess and register all JSSs across the country ahead of schools reopening for the first time, which happens when?
23rd of January.
All right, which is how many days from today? -9. A multi-agency team composed of officials from the Ministry of Education and Interior and the Teacher Service Commission will from today assess the suitability of primary schools to admit JSS learners. They will be checking on the type of school, whether it's boys, girls or mixed, day or boarding, and regular or special needs, among others. So they'll check, is the school registered in NEMIS? Is a head teacher qualification and specialization for special schools, teaching staff available, number of teachers and their qualification, availability of internet, number of digital learning equipment, and functionality. Schools will not be approved to host JSS if they fail to meet such requirements, including adequate sanitation facilities, land and validity of the title deed, furniture and availability of a room that can be equipped for sciences.
Okay.
Others are space for agriculture projects and assorted farm tools.
I've got to ask.
Ask.
So, should this not have been done before the decision to insist that junior secondary be domiciled in primary school?
Can I perhaps give an opinion on this matter? Can I opine?
You may opine. Then
Yes.
I can ask my second question.
No, ask the second question first, then I will opine.
And then these feeder schools, these ones now that we are saying,
Like a school that has less than 45 students.
yeah, because obviously that one now will
have.
not be able to retain these students who are going to junior secondary.
Yeah.
And since they are saying they'll be domiciled, it's clear that they will not be able to have them. So now what will happen is that they will be sent to yet another primary school whereby
within a 2 kilometer radius.
Yeah. And have these already been identified?
That's the job now.
That's what they're doing between now and the 23rd.
Yes.
Okay, please.
You know, the one of the things that we human beings have a tendency of doing, we tend to formulate certain yardsticks in our minds. And the yardsticks are born out of experience. This is the way things have been done, and they have worked, especially if they have worked. Now, this CBC and everything around it, in my mind, seems to be a work in progress.
It is.
So one must look at it from that point of view. And I would ask the question, this thing that is now being spoken of, will it bring about the desired results?
The desired result being...
precisely. Now, you will also have to ask that question.
Yes,
what are these desired results? Because a work in progress means you started off with something and you thought you had it, then suddenly you realize it isn't quite so. But again, reality about our education system is that it's also never far away from our politics.
Sure.
Because it's been a tool that political leaders who've come into power have used to show that they're bringing in something that is changing, something that is new. As to whether it actually brings about, again, the desired results, you see, the proof of this particular pudding is in the eating, I agree. But again, if that particular course that we're being that is being spoken of does not meet what we may refer to as the long-term human resource needs of the country, then you have to ask, okay, so why exactly do we have this system? Because that's what it's supposed to do. And if I look at what has been heralded as the purpose of this change, it's that times have changed, things have changed. We want the students to be in tune with these changes, and the changes are supposed to bring about, again, the word desired
results.
Yes, exactly. But it's a work in progress. So as it's a work in progress, our questioning will also be a work in progress.
It all seems pretty touch and go. Like, you know, if we see if it works today, we go with it. If not, okay, we think about something else.
By the way, if I may just mention this, the Standard on page 4 and 5 have spread on the mental health crisis, as they're calling it in the country. And it details, it goes to town about it. But the thing that I found most alarming, according to them, that according to the World Health Organization, they say 1 out of 4 Kenyans seeking health care has a mental health condition.
Yeah.
That's a report by
WHO.
Even the one by our task force.
Yes. 1 in 4.
25%.
Right. Food for thought, wouldn't you say?
Yep. Yep. What was that story that you were to tell us?
The second headline.
The second headline.
Yes, this was in the Star.
Hepatitis.
Yes. Hepatitis.
Uh-huh.
Okay. This is a story by a gentleman by the name of John Mushangi. And Mushangi is he's a science journalist. Okay. Now, the story goes this way. There's a certain research scientist by the name of Professor Benson Edagwa. Okay. Now, he and this team that I mentioned from the University of Nebraska Medical School, Medical Center, have been carrying out tests to determine whether you can ease the burden of hepatitis B. Now, that is by one injection. Burden meaning someone doesn't have to walk around with an entire pharmacy in their pocket to be able to treat it, but maybe just one injection. Now, this gentleman is known, remember, for being part of the team that formulated a 1-year ARV antiretroviral injection in 2020. Okay? Yes, he was in that team. By the way, all these research findings are collaborative. It's the name of the person, the principal investigator will come out as the person, but there are very many other people with whom they actually work. Now, they are saying that they've tested it on mice, this particular injection, and on mice carrying human liver cells in support to support natural infection as it occurs in humans. And their team said, this is what they said in the statement: the animals were infected with chronic hepatitis B and injected with a formulated drug. Meaning, this was still at the stage where animal testing, you're testing it in mice. You inject the disease, then you inject the formulation, right? We followed the infected animals for at least 3 months after a single treatment. And during that time, our therapy called NMITFV outperformed the existing standard of care when administered as an injectable. This is what Edagwa said. He hopes to take the drug to clinical trial within the next year or so. Clinical trial meaning after this, if everything about it pans out, meaning it is safe. It's something that in mice, yes. The positive results are continuous. They now hope to test it among human beings. Yes.
Why? Okay. That's a good thing. It's a positive story in the midst of these negative stories, like this one. October 2022. A man set ablaze a home in Gimari village in Embu County, an attack that left grief and shock in its wake because 7 members of the same family were burnt to death and their timber house reduced to ashes. Those who perished were 50-year-old Charles Kariuki, his wife Catherine Wanjiro, as well as their 3 children, Joel Njero, Judy Wanjiko, and Marianne Murugi. Marianne was preparing to sit for her KCPE exam in November. The couple's 2 grandchildren, Tumaini Blessings and Prince Baraka, also died in that incident. What was surprising is that no one survived to tell the shocking story. The suspect, who had been on the run since the attack, was arrested on Friday. And this is where now the story again changes. It takes a new twist. According to detectives handling the matter, it is said that this man had a disagreement, was married, had a disagreement with his wife. Now we're talking about the suspect, okay? The suspect had a disagreement with his wife, who fled her matrimonial home in Kakamega, only to end up being married by another man in Embu, in this village, Gimari village. The couple had 2 children together. After learning that the woman had remarried, the suspect allegedly sent a text message to his ex-wife threatening to set their family home on fire. So when he was arrested on Friday, he said, "You know what? I got the wrong house."
Oh dear.
He wanted to burn down the house of whom?
His ex-wife.
His ex-wife.
And her new family. He went to a neighbor's house and set it on fire and killed 7 people.
Good Lord.
Man, wife, 3 children, 2 grandchildren.
How erroneous can that get?
Imagine. Imagine.
You know, this mental health issue must be...
I'm telling
this
you.
thing.
And he had followed them from Kakamega. He followed them to Embu.
What was his reasoning for this hunt? Does it say?
She left him.
She left him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. She left him. Tracked her, traced where she is, sent her a message and told her, "I will burn down that house." It's a sad one. It's a very, very sad one. Neighbors are saying this Mzee and his wife were actually very good neighbors.
Oh, man.
They were really good people. The kids were, as nobody had an issue with this particular family. And they ended up burying all of them in a mass grave.
Oh, no.
Well, in graves that are just one next to another.
Yeah.
But I buried all of them on the same day. You know? Man says, I missed my target.
Ridiculous.
Give it here for more conversations. Coming up in the next hour, we host the MCA for which ward? What?
Abotega West.
Abogeta.
It's Abogeta?
It's Abogeta ward.
Oh, okay. It's Abogeta ward.
Abogeta ward. Dennis Kiogora from Meru County. He'll be joining us at 7 o'clock. Good morning. It is now 7 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire Dennis Aseto. President William Ruto read the Riot Act to News Cabinet, stating that they must deliver on their responsibilities. The president said that his leadership cannot tolerate negligence since his manifesto must be delivered for Kenyans. This as Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that this is the time to show the difference between their leadership and that of retired President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Kuna msemo wa Kiswahili inasema kuna mtu amepata kazi na kuna kazi imepata mtu. Hivi karibuni mtajionea ni ipi.
Rais amepanga kazi na imepangika, na mtaona matunda yake. Na mimi President, I want to encourage you, ujipangie kazi yako. Hii kazi yako rais usiwachie mtu, utakwama. Ile serikali imeondoka ilikwama kwa sababu kulikosa mtu ya kupanga kazi.
The president has also said that the government will send 360 more police reservists to Laikipia County to deal with livestock theft, which has contributed to insecurity in Laikipia County.
Tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutaongeza wale National Police Reserve 360, wengine wataungana na nyinyi in the next few months. Tuhakikishe ya kwamba tunadhibiti mambo ya usalama. Na vile vile tumekubaliana ya kwamba mbali na kuwa na National Police Reserve, wale ranchers wote wa hapa tutaketi chini na wao, pia tupangane na wao, kila rancher afanye fencing. Tupange na watu wa Kenya Wildlife Service, mahali tunahitaji ua tuweke ua, ndio tuweze kuzuia wanyama wasiwe wanaharibu mimea yenu na kuumiza wananchi.
And governors have called for the review of 9 laws and executive orders, which they say are a clawback on devolution. The county bosses say that the laws are in conflict with the constitution and require review for counties to undertake their mandate effectively. The legislations include Cooperative Societies Act, NHIF Act, KEMSA Act, National Construction Authority Act, Agriculture and Food Authority Act, Tea and Coffee Regulations, the Energy Act, Water Act, Environment Management and Coordination Act. Speaking during the cabinet retreat in Nyeri, Council of Governors Chair Ann Waiguru also cited 3 executive orders and the State Corporations Act, which established the Kenya National Public Health Institute, National Syndemic Disease Control Authority, Kenya Tissue and Transplant Authority, also as stifling smooth implementation of devolution. The governors have further called for the restructuring of the regional development authorities and semi-autonomous government agencies that undertake county government functions. Now, 10 people are admitted to various hospitals in Kisii County following an anthrax outbreak in Sugubo Village, Babasi constituency, a border in Kisii and Transmara in our county. The outbreak was reported last week, where at least 10 animals were confirmed dead. Agriculture County Executive Margaret Obaga said at least 10 cows died, increasing the fatalities to 13. The county has deployed more veterinary officers to the region to carry out a free vaccination campaign to mitigate further deaths. Now, the Kenya Railways has announced that the Madaraka Express passenger service train will start intermediate stops in Voi beginning February 1st. The agency disclosed that passengers aboard the 3 p.m. Madaraka Express train from Mombasa, Nairobi termini can board and alight the train at Voi station. Consequently, the Mombasa to Nairobi Express train will now arrive at Voi station at 4:38 p.m. and depart at 4:43 p.m., while the Nairobi to Mombasa afternoon express train will arrive at Voi station at 6:48 p.m. and depart at 6:53 p.m. The Mombasa to Nairobi train will complete the journey at 8:18 p.m., with the Nairobi-Mombasa train completing the journey at 8:30 p.m. And police in Teso South, Busia County have launched investigations into the death of a 66-year-old man who was allegedly murdered by his brother's son over a land dispute at Asid village in Teso South constituency. Over the weekend, the body of the man, who has since been identified as Bisancio Opili, was found along a pathway near his home after he was allegedly killed using a machete by his 22-year-old stepson, Kevin Omusolo. According to Teso South Sub-County Police Commander Stephen Kimunya, the matter was reported by the Chief of Apigay location, Maurice Nyakol, who called the police to the scene of the incident. And the suspect in the death of 7 family members who perished in a fire tragedy in Nyeri village, Runyenjes, Embu County in October last year has finally been arrested. More on the news in a subsequent news bulletin. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
A few minutes after 7 o'clock, and traffic is building up on the Thika Superhighway. Jogo Road in and outbound traffic started early. Probably is going to continue doing that thing. Coming off North Airport Road and connecting with Outer Ring, there's some traffic just at that junction as you're headed north. All right, what else are we seeing? Coming out of Westlands, traffic is building there as well on Wayaki Way. Not too bad on James Gishoro. Should not be too much of an issue, at least not for now. I was seeing some coming off of Limuru Road into the city. We'll keep an eye on things. Tell us what's going on where you are this morning. SpiceFM KE on Twitter. Let's keep things moving.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
7. Good morning. How are you doing? Welcome to the second hour of the Situation Room, Monday, the 9th day of 2023. Yes.
It's true.
Ndu?
Yeah.
You're buffering?
I'm okay now.
Okay.
System Meru.
Imeingiana. Sawa basi. Sawa. Now, Ndu.
Yes.
What about the school fees?
Are you looking for school fees? There's a way to get it. Kiwi says, step up and shine. This guy in his tin can. Kiwi, get a can of the Kiwi black shoe polish at any of your supermarkets, and there's a code under the lid once you've paid for it. You send that code once you dial to *45*5#. *459*5#, beg your pardon. And you win airtime or bundles immediately. Thereafter, you get a chance to enter into a weekly draw. So there will be a total of 36 winners, each winning 35,000 shillings, and it goes directly to school fees, much needed. So here's an opportunity for you to step up and shine with Kiwi.
Right. Very good. And City Muga has the Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra with S Pen. And with it, he has a proverb from Lesotho.
I most certainly do. Okay. Cattle are born with ears. Horns grow later.
In the year of the cow. Sorry.
Cattle up.
Yes, you had to.
I couldn't.
Yeah, you couldn't resist that one. No. All right.
Cattle are born with ears.
Ears, yes.
Horns.
Yeah. Grow later. Now, horn here is not trumpet. No.
What? Oh, not trumpet.
Yes, trumpet.
No way that's a thing. Okay.
Horn, that's silicon growth on the head of cows.
Pembe.
Pembe.
It is pembe. Okay. Okay. That inside joke for people who are not getting it is we once hosted a gentleman from which country?
Japan.
And what was the gentleman?
It was the ambassador.
The ambassador.
The Japanese ambassador to Kenya.
Japan's ambassador to Kenya. And he said that he was born in the year of cow.
Oh, so with that, Where? What is that location? What is that location again?
Somebody heard what? He was born in the ear of a cow.
that wasn't quite it.
In the ear of a cow. All right.
Okay, now that cattle have ears.
Yes. So now we'll be hosting the MCA for Kibo, Abogeta Ward, Abogeta West Ward in Meru County. The Deputy President has been holding meetings with the leadership of Meru County. Meru MCAs yesterday met Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in Nyeri in the company of 12 area MPs. During the session, Governor Kawira Mwangaza, they said Governor Kawira Mwangaza must be pushed to involve all elected leaders to spur development. The MCAs and MPs travelled to Gachagua's rural home in Hiriga for the meeting just days after the DP met the MPs separately at his official residence in Nairobi. Gachagua left Nanyuki, where he had attended a church service with the president, to attend to that meeting. According to sources, the MCAs spoke passionately about their commitment for teamwork in the county, but they blamed the governor for forcing them to take the last resort after she denied them any opportunity to have a direct say on development in their own backyards. While they acknowledged that the governor had sought the Controller of Budget's opinion on their proposed Ward Development Fund, which the latter had dismissed as lacking legal support, the MCA said the previous two governors had given them the same leeway purely on basis of political goodwill. So now this one is coming here to bring law on a matter that is
lawless.
What is she talking about? They said, our point is that MCA's weight is felt on the ground when projects that residents value are implemented. The governor receives dividends on the county's head as the county's head, and the MCA receives the same as a grassroots leader. One of the MCAs who spoke at the session explained. They also said they were eager to meet the governor at another reconciliation forum to be convened by the DP after returning from a benchmarking tour to Arusha, Tanzania. Gachagua promised to relay these concerns to Governor Kawira Mwangaza when he meets with her separately at some point. Okay? So basically, the whole issue, even the way Governor Mwangaza said in the Senate, is revolving around the Ward Development Fund. MCAs want an allocation that goes to each ward, and the MCA has a say in the development at the ward level. And they said, this is how we are going to be able to tell our people we are working. Otherwise, it's going to make noise in Meru. And then I go back to Abogeta West. What am I going to tell them? What have you been doing in Meru?
All this time.
Yeah. We don't see hakuna barabara, hakuna soko, hakuna.
You know, there's a small matter that perhaps needs to be given a little more attention. And this is the matter of how it is governors relate to the MCAs. Because every time there is a discussion around impeachment, it is a discussion around the relationship of the governor and their MCAs. These are all elected leaders, and how it is that they work in order to bring the so-called development that they promise the people whom they represent. Okay? And it is not a singular discussion, because I think every county will have its own little issues. There's a side that will say, well, these MCAs think they are God knows what else. And the governors, it will be said, also think that they can determine God knows what they can. Now, surely, this isn't one of those situations where we're going to conclude and say, well, the truth must be somewhere in between. No. It's not a question of the truth being somewhere in between. Do we have a clear way, a clear laid out process by which the county assembly relates to their governor with respect to the development that the MCAs feel ought to be coming to their respective wards?
I would say so. I would say that there is. And all that is called a development plan. So there is a county integrated development plan, CIDP, it's a 5-year plan. And there is a county annual development plan, which follows the annual budget. Now, the annual development plan, as it's developed at the grassroots level, even the CIDP, the MCAs ought to be involved.
Yes, they are.
and they have a role to play in contributing to it. The MCAs as well have a role that they play in the county assembly when they are approving budgets.
Yes.
And allocating funds. They're the ones who will approve a budget and say, we are also appropriating funds to this, and the other project. So they have a say.
So when they then complain, are we saying that they have been excluded from this process, or are we saying that they were included in this process and there's something more that they want?
I think what they are saying is that those processes don't matter. What they want is direct cash.
Then there will be a bit of a problem.
Which
what
many
they want
would argue
is to have a say in the implementation and management of the funds.
Right.
Because you see, currently, like it would be said, even in national government, if you remove the CDF, the MP has nothing that they can go and say that we are doing this on the ground.
No, they have absolutely nothing.
They can only allocate and appropriate in government and then go and knock on those doors and make sure, okay, can this thing be done by the relevant state department?
Sure.
Same thing at the county. Can this thing be done by the relevant county department? Now MCAs want a direct say, can this thing be done by me?
And many would say that this was, well, speculation is rife, that this was one of the main reasons as to why the impeachment suggestion was made in the first place.
Yep.
That they felt as though control of the money was not in their hands directly, and they wanted a situation where that was going to happen. And the governor was clear that give me the proper documentation, I will then have no problem releasing the money, and they did not want that.
You see where now this thing becomes a bit of a pickle is this, huh? We seem to be discussing devolution to its last nth. Okay? Is it clear or is it true that devolution should involve not just a participation in the budget making and yet not be directly involved in the implementation, where implementation means that there's an allocation of funds that you directly control. Now, this has been argued. Remember, this is a matter that went to court with regard to CDF.
Yes.
See? And they were told, please go and sort out this thing. The courts were very fair. They said, no, look, it's a question of the law. Go and sort it out. Once the law allows for it, then there is no problem. Now, it seems like we're having the same discussion with regard to MCAs.
It's the same.
Yes.
It's basically the same thing. It is, and maybe what we look then also to give the MCA a bit of a leeway is the expectation of the people who elected them. What is it that we define as maendeleo? Because if you have elected somebody and then they've gone to the county assembly or they've gone to the national assembly or they've gone to the Senate and then they come back and you ask them, umefanya nini tangu tukuelect? You came here campaigning, we shall make sure that these roads are done. We shall make sure hospitals are working. We shall make sure that education for our kids is on point. And then you come back, we'll be asking you, so where's the road?
Then you're going to tell us the governor.
And the guy, you're going to tell us the governor or, the president. Or no, people are like, no, we want you to tell us directly. But then that is the job that the MC has been given, to go and make sure that the governor delivers. Isn't that what is oversight? Is oversight doing the thing yourself?
So you brought in now the discussion of what oversight actually not should mean, but what it should be.
Yes.
Okay.
The MCA for Abogeta West Ward in Meru County, Dennis Kiogora DMK, joins us in the studio now. Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning, sir.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you.
Umetoka Meru asubuhi ama you?
No, I'm coming from Nyeri.
Okay.
So I spent
from the meeting with the deputy president.
Yes, I spent in Nyeri, so I'm coming from there. Somehow I could have made it in time. I just got from the expressway. I used the wrong route to get out.
We laugh because it happens very often.
It happens often.
Yes.
You're
Okay.
in good company.
Pole. It happens a lot, and I think we just need to do something. We need to talk nicely to people of Moja Expressway.
I say, please.
Instead of writing just at the Southern Bypass exit, write Standard Group
exit.
Yes.
Rename that thing.
Yeah.
Okay, karibu sana though.
Asante.
It's good to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you very much. This is my first time on SpiceFM, so I'm very happy to be here today.
Let it not be your last.
Yeah, it will not.
Now, Mheshimiwa, you will be talking about issues of Meru County, leading to the impeachment proceedings and thereafter. But let's begin with the latest, which is a meeting that you held yesterday with the Deputy President,
Yes.
MCAs from Meru County, plus all the elected members of Parliament, plus your senator.
Yes.
What was the meeting about?
The meeting was about the whole impeachment thing, and the Deputy President and the President has actually delegated to the Deputy President to oversee talks between the MCAs and the Governor to see whether the situation we have in Meru, let me call it the situation, not the wrangles that we have in Meru County. I think the two mean differently. Whether we can sort them out and be able to talk to each other and start working together with the Governor. Yeah, so the Governor held a meeting last week with the MPs from Meru County, the 12 of them. Then yesterday, he held a meeting with the MCAs plus the MPs now. The MPs presented their issues, and then the MCAs now presented their issues. Then the Governor, I think, will be meeting the Deputy President now so that they can talk, and then the Deputy President can share what he got from us, what he got from the MPs. Then there was a proposal that since the MCAs are going on a retreat, after they come back, we are going to have like a 10-member committee of MCAs, MPs, and the Governor, so that they can sit down and agree now on how to work in Meru County moving forward.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's take a few steps back.
Yes.
Is it possible for us? Because in order for you to now work out problems going forward, or the situation as you call it,
Yes.
what really is the issue? Speculation, jumping all over the place about what the issue really could be. Now, according to the Senate, you have no choice but to work together.
Yeah.
What happened? Either that or everybody goes home, right?
Yeah.
So what happened, and what is the real issue?
So what happened is, I'll take you down to September. So, and we held a few meetings with the Governor. We ate together. Then we said in those meetings, I think we had 3 meetings with the Governor. Then we said we are going to sit and come up with a working formula. And now we're going to work. If you go to Mwananchi and tell them the work of the MCA is to legislate, to oversight, and of course, to represent, they don't want to understand that. They want to know that I'll come here and ask for bursary from in your office.
Yes.
I want to come in your office and you come and fix my road. When the flood light goes off, it's the MCA who I call the people who are concerned, the Department of Energy, to come and put it on. So the Mwananchi knows the MCA down there. If you tell them, call the Governor, I don't know how many calls the Governor can pick from them. So now it's the similar scenario even with the MPs and why they are fighting for the CDF. Even them, their mandate is similar to what we have under the Constitution. But the Mwananchi the average person does not understand that. It's those of us who are in the elite column who understand that. So now, so what happened is the Governor continued with the campaign mode, with the music tracks and going to the field, going to our wards without telling us. You're in the assembly, unaambiwa Governor ako kwako, then inaappear you are not working with the Governor. Like, why is your Governor in your ward and you are not even here to welcome the Governor? Can we even send you to a Governor that to take our issues if you are not even coming with the Governor? But and then disrespect now came in when you go tukisikia ako huko unatoroka unakimbia kwa ward. Ukipata Governor ako huko, so Governor anaweza kuanika mbele ya watu, anakusomea ama anakuambia ukuje ujibu maneno. Sometimes for those who are new, meaning kwa second term, anakuambia ujibu mambo alifanywa na your predecessor mbele ya watu. So you don't know as to the things that your predecessor did. Naambiwa kuja utuambie MCA mlifanya nini hapa. Sema mimi sikuwa kwa ofisi hiyo time. So then wakati wa kuongea as an MCA, mnaambiwa simameni hapa ward and mean MCA, wewe sema jina. Wewe sema jina unawekewa mic. For you it's your area, so you need to talk to your people. Unaweza pewa 2 minutes. As the area MCA, then unaita the person who is above you, maybe the CEC or the deputy governor, whoever, so that they can invite the governor. So tukaona protocol you observe. Tukiita governor tuongee maneno, akakataa kukuja. She appeared on an FM station akasema MCAs wanataka tukae chini kukula mandazi kwa hoteli, na hiyo time niko na kazi kwa ground. Tukimtafuta kwa ofisi akuange kwa ofisi yako ground. So yeye anakuanga mtu wa ground, by the way she is very popular with the people. Yeye anakuanga tu ground. Ukimtafuta tuambie, but you sit with us first. Tuunde serikali kwanza, tukupitishie CECs, tukupitie CEOs, tukupitishie CEOs na board members, then uende mashinani ukiwa na serikali. So unakimbia mashinani after campaigns. What are you campaigning for? So governor naye hataki kutusikiza. Then there has been a word deferred. But not the MCAs who have been controlling it, because you can't control it. What has been happening is, unaambiwa a certain amount of money, like time ya Kiraito ilikuwa 20 million shillings, itaenda kwa kila ward. Kazi yako kama MCA ni kuketi chini huko na wananchi ufanye public participation, na kuna ward committees ziliformiwa na governor na MCAs in conjunction. So hii committee inaketi chini, mnafanya public participation like in every location, watu wanasema projects zao, then mnakaa chini mnagawa the 20 million, mnaandika, mnasaini nyinyi wote kama MCA na committee, mnapeleka sasa every department. Sema kama mmesema 5 million ya 20 million kwa spent on roads, department ya roads itakuja iseme barabara mlisema ni gani, ni hii na hii na hii, then wanaweka kwa websites, zinakuwa advertised, wanaprocure, wanapeana tenders, kazi zinakuja kufanywa. This time round, after the tension started with the MCAs, governor aliruka MCAs, akaanza kuenda kila ward mwenyewe. Alikuwa anaenda like 4 wards in a day, ndio akave the 45 wards in Meru. Akifanya hizo public participation, akachukua ward admin na akachukua wa competitors. Na akakuja akasema MCA wamekataa kufanya kazi na mimi, mwenye alikuwa number 2 anamchukua. So in every ward akachukua wa number 2s, na wa number 2 akikataa anachukua number 3 wenye walikuwa kwa election. So akakuwa na own set of MCAs. Then akawaita Meru town, wakaanza kuregister party code Okolea Political Party of Kenya. Wakasema nyinyi ndio na empower, ndio mnatoa hawa na MCA tunasumbuana na wao.
But how, when, and what? I'm sorry to interject, but what kind of impact would that have? Is it just
that would have a serious impact?
And that's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Are we talking about social capital here? Because when it comes to the law, the duly elected are the ones then who will be able to do anything. So explain to us why that would be dangerous from your
It would be dangerous because now what she was doing, she would come with them. When we force ourselves to a meeting, because we were never invited, anawashika mikono, anawainua, anasema hao ndio nitafanya kazi na wao. Mulete kampuni, nitawapea tenders, financial empowerment to our opponents now. This is to star us now. Mulete kampuni,
so she's promising them direct
nitawapea tenders, nyinyi ndio mzunguke. Kwanza there's one con Caste who came number 2 to the Goji West MCA, anamwambia Caste, zunguka uniletee majina ya watoto tutapea basari. So ameanza kuambia pia wao ndio wataleta majina ya watoto watapewa basari. So for us it was a fight for survival. So akatuambia kazi yenu haiko mashinani kwa assembly ya kuregistrate na kuoversight mkaya assembly, kazi yenu haiko mashinani. Sasa wakati sisi tulikaa assembly tukasoma katiba tukaona pia tuko na kazi nyingine, impeachment. So hii impeachment ni kazi ambayo tuliona. So when the governor told us, you people you have no work uko mashinani, akaanza kuempower our opponents, umetunyang'anya basari ukawapatia ward development allocation, ukasema wao ndio watapropose the projects zenye zitafanywa in the ward, not us. So for us it was a fight for survival.
And
so
all
when
of
we
this took place in 2 months.
In September and October. That is when all this is happening. So we sat down now, we decided to impeach. So we went out to look for reasons. No, you decide first because it's a political thing.
Wow.
So you go out. So one of the things we knew about this impeachment is, for us it was to divert our attention from fighting us. So
just to keep her occupied.
To keep her busy now defending herself in courts, in the Senate. So for us, we had calculated and knew that in 2 years, we can impeach her, either within 3 months, we can impeach her 8 times. So we knew tunafika Senate, tunarudi. After 3 months, impeach, tunarudi. So we keep her busy there because now she's keeping us busy defending ourselves. So for us, it was a fight for survival. So we were out to fight now.
But you knew the likelihood of it passing the Senate was low.
It was low because of the short duration of time we were in office and all that. But for us, it was to bring us to the table to negotiate because we were not picking our cause.
So
she doesn't want to sit down.
You've gotten what you wanted.
We wanted to get here. So we were ready to impeach again from April if it will not get us to talk. Because the governor now was not taking our cause, was basically insulting us, calling us foxes and all those things in the public and all that, and calling us thieves. We are demanding money to pass CECs, which was a lie. She was lying about us. And for her, she has a big platform. She has the money to influence and to mobilize and all that. So tukaona, this is our very survival that is on the line. So we must find a way of bringing her to the table. So when we brought the motion, now that's when she started calling us. Oh, come we talk now. Come we talk now. And we told her we want to go all the way to show you what we can do.
So
we refused to talk to her now when she came back to the table to talk to us. And, come we talk now, come we talk, come. Now she started running out to Njori Ncheke. Call them, we talk. To bishops, call them, we talk. Then to everybody, to the deputy president. Then call them, we talk. We said, no, we must first of all get to the Senate.
Tuheshimiane.
Yes. Ndio tuheshimiane kwanza, ujue sisi ni kina nani. Our set of MC, alternative MCs wako umechukua, who are our competitors, hawata kusaidia sasa. Ndio sasa ujue what we can do. So that is now what she did now, she again went at that time, akachukua ward admins, akawaambia kila ward administrator aseme ward ametoka. Kila mtu warudi kwao. They were redeployed back to their wards. She was empowering opponents and empowering ward administrators back in the wards. Nyinyi either the opponent or the ward admin au sasa ndio watakuwa MCAs wake sasa.
So ward admins are permanent and pensionable.
Yes.
And they were therefore hired by the previous administrations.
Yes.
So what she's doing is basically just redeploying. So if
she redeployed them to their home
wards, is in Abogeta, but he did not come from Abogeta. He's basically sent back to their
back to their ward so that
they can become popular in their ward.
To popularize them with these projects, the bursaries, they are the ones who are issuing them. I think the wards admin now, they are the ones who are even giving bursaries. They have a deadline today of awarding bursaries now. So you can imagine the person they know ni wewe. Ukikuja unawaambia mimi sijui mambo ya bursary, kaulizeni ward admin. So the ward admin now is the one working on that right now. So now yesterday, we told the deputy president that in order even to sit down to talk to the governor, she has to take back the ward admins from where they were, back to where they were working, to redeploy them back to where they were working instead of their home wards. Then they have to stop this business of ward admins are the ones who are issuing bursaries, because the MCAs who and the governor who select a 11-member committee in every ward that sits down and then looks at the bursaries. It's not the ward admin. So then they stop that so that we can now sit down and talk. Before that is done, we are not even going to talk to Anna. So I think the deputy president might have called her last night to communicate what we want first done. Is this was scenario she had put on the ground, atoe, then we sit down and agree now how we're going to move forward with the work. So for us, it was a fight for survival. So for us, we were not just taking her home. We wanted to keep her busy.
Okay. Let's take a break. DMK, let's take a break. 28 minutes to 8. This is the Situation Room. DMK, the Honorable Dennis Kiogora, is the MCA for Abogeta West Ward in Meru County. The man who was behind the move to impeach Governor Kawira Mwangaza. It went all the way to the Senate. They've been told, no, she's not going home. Now, the deputy president has been tasked by the president to organize and make sure that there is peaceful coexistence of all elected leaders in Meru County. Yesterday, he met with all the MPs and MCAs and the senator of Meru County. Soon, he'll be meeting with the governor, and Honorable DMK is telling us the whole genesis of this kerfuffle in Meru. Let's take that break and remind you about Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4.
Get onto the flip side of life with the Samsung Galaxy technology companion and immerse yourself in the great pictures that it can take, combined with all sorts of other accessories. Great pictures, great screen, front and back cameras can get that event, that picture taken with great technology. It's the Samsung Z Flip 4. Get onto the flip side of life.
And you can use that Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 to watch premium content on Showmax. If you subscribe to Showmax and you download the Showmax app on your mobile device, you will be able to watch the best documentaries, even live sports, even if you want live news, if you want live proceedings from the Senate or the County Assembly of Meru, you can get it on showmax.com.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
3, 2.
Everybody, welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Heri Latifa, Muga, Madam Du, nimesalamia wote sana.
Tumepokea salamu, asante sana.
Hapa Garissa today the weather is very good, only that baridi inatupeleka mbio sana.
The baridi ni degree ngapi hapo?
Hata sijui lakini madam tunakauka sana.
If you want to follow the money trail, you've got to think like a thief to be able to catch that thief.
A slap from a friend is better than a kiss from an enemy. You remember the
cloudy conditions in Nairobi at 18, highs of 26 and lows of 15. It's sunny at 13, going to highs of 26 in Nakuru and Nyeri. We'll see cloudy conditions through the morning, going to highs of 24 and lows of 12. Same in Eldoret, currently at 15 and sunny. We're looking at partly sunny conditions at 26 in Mombasa, highs of 32, and we'll see highs of 32 as well in a sunny Malindi. It's mostly cloudy at 19 in Kisumu, highs of 28 and highs of 28 as well in Kakamega, where it's cloudy at 19. It's 22 and sunny in Kampala, highs of 27, and it'll go to highs of 31 in Dar es Salaam, where it's now raining at 23. Sunny conditions in Johannesburg, highs of 26, and we'll see highs of 33 in a clear Lagos at 25. It's 23 and cloudy in Kinshasa, highs of 28 and lows of 23.
Spice up your life.
On the Likoni interchange, then coming in from Jogo Road, connecting from there. There's some traffic as you're heading out towards the southern bypass, so watch out for that. After that, shouldn't be too bad. Gong Road has some traffic inching into the city, and we're looking at Jogo Road, which is busy from 6, and some traffic coming off Outer Ring from there. Thika Superhighway, the first time in weeks, is seeing bumper-to-bumper traffic, and this is all the way from that Outer Ring junction, heading out towards the Pangani underpass. We're also seeing Kiambu Road traffic has started to do the thing this morning. This is the week where everybody's back on the trot. And we're also looking at Limuru Road, some traffic there. It's heavy getting into the city as well. We'll take a look at what's happening in Westlands in a bit. But for now, traffic is building up, folks. If you're not out, now's the time to do so, or you wait it out. Talk to us on SpiceFM, KE on Twitter.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself.
22 minutes to
Mornings.
The conversation continues with the MCA for Abogeta West Ward, Dennis Kiogora. This is from, and also he's the minority whip in the Meru County Assembly. Julia is saying, you talked to her 91-year-old mom, who recently told her, the reason why you people are up against the Governor Kawera Mwangaza or bringing on issues of the first gentleman and all is just because Governor ni mama.
No, I don't think the gender count here should come to play, but no, there are people who are likely to bring it up because of the history that we have in Meru County of women hardly getting elected into office, of course, unless for those in the affirmative seats. But in this case, that's not it. Because otherwise, how are all the women MCAs supporting impeachment? Are they not women like her? So then why is even our own home MCA, actually the neighboring ward is as a female MCA, elected MCA, she's still, people like the communications director for the governor went to our TV. The governor owns our TV. It's a propaganda TV called Baita TV. And then the communications director calls the elected woman MCA. Does even that MCA know what day it is? She's just old and senile.
What?
So how do you expect now somebody, a communications director for that case, why don't we think that that's the thinking of the governor herself? So she's looking down on the female MCA who is elected, the only one actually. She's the only elected MCA, female MCA out of 45. And then that's the way they talk about her live on TV. So these others also come in solidarity to support her. Then the other issue we have actually, it can be against the male gender. You know, men are not used now to play the roles that the wives are supposed to play when you are a wife to a politician. Now, the husband now is supposed to let the mama free to go and work and talk and all that. The husband wants to play the governor now. And he's not the one who is elected. Actually, you have a big problem with the husband, not the wife. So to this grandma, what I can say is, one of the biggest problems we have is against the man.
But you couldn't impeach him because he doesn't have, so you have to get to him through her.
Now, the man comes to meetings, starts insulting us and everybody. You know, now that excites the people.
This is official meetings or rallies? Or
rallies now.
Yes.
Rallies. Even in official meetings, especially those that we have appeared as house leadership. With the governor, he attends.
Official meetings.
He has attended 2 of those meetings.
As whom?
I don't know, as the spouse. I don't know. He works, he has an office next to the governor's office. So whenever there are meetings in the boardroom, he pops in. So then the governor's PA is our sister, and the governor's senior security officer is another sister. So you have a family gathering there. And this communications director is the nephew. So it's like a family enterprise that you are talking to in the office. So then they come, they sit there. We are house leadership. Whenever we are bringing issues, we wanted the governor alone, not the husband and the sisters. We want the governor alone ourselves so that we can talk politics and development and all that. But most of the time, we are unable to talk because they are there. So we come and drink tea.
If you're going there to talk and you're talking about development in the county, why would you be unable to talk?
Now, look.
Are you taking county secrets to the governor?
There are things that we can talk about that are supposed to be government secrets or issues that are supposed to be government issues. So we don't expect the spouse there and the sisters. So we have been, like me, I've been there. I've been the former county government. When we had meetings with Kereito, the wife was not there. And even the ministers want to keep out unless they are called in. So because we want 10 sessions with the governor so that we can talk a few things that should not be for other people to hear. So we sometimes you are uncomfortable because these are people who are not elected. They can go out there and say anything and misrepresent facts about what you discuss. So you are very cautious. You are not even free with the governor to talk because they are there. So now the husband now was coming to meetings. He starts a conversation or insults and all that. Then the governor, when she comes, maybe she had a different agenda. She normally picks up from where the husband left and continues now with the insults. So we felt now maybe somehow the husband is corroborating the governor because was he not here to start this? The governor maybe could have spoken about different things. So we wanted him to play because there is no way now the deputy governor will speak, then the husband, then the governor. So that has been their protocol. So we wanted where the deputy governor talks, then the president.
The governor.
And then the governor. Yes, because even at the national level, that's how it happens. The deputy president and the president. We don't just see the first lady talking. The first ladies are there to be seen. So in Meru County, the first gentleman is there to be seen in public functions. Not just to play any function, because he's not the one who is elected.
A role.
He doesn't have any role. So that was one of the biggest problems. So if we were fighting any gender, it's the man now who has been misleading our elected governor.
Mheshimiwa, I have to ask you, when you say there were insults, what are these things that he would say that would qualify the said things to be insults?
For example, he comes to a meeting, he says that the reason why you see MCAs rioting, they were asking for bribes from us, say us, so that they can pass CECs. They are demanding for money so that they can approve anything in the assembly, which is not the case. So the governor cannot stand and deny what the husband said. So she comes and confirms it. The other day, the first gentleman stood up and said the senator and the minister for agriculture, Mithika Linturi, are demanding 50% share of the government. It's the husband who said that. Then the governor stood and confirmed and continued with the same conversation. Another day, the husband picked up a quarrel with the MP for Tigana East and said, Mpuru Aburi is demanding that he brought to us 14 companies so that we can award them tenders. Then the governor comes and picks up and continues disparaging the MP. So actually, she has also been at war with them, with the MPs, because she took the sub-county admins. Now, these are the constituent administrators back to their sub-counties to prepare them to be MPs, to empower them and all that. That's what she told them. Then everybody was redeployed back to their home. So now, she started targeting the MP one by one. She started with Mpuru, then went to Kirima. Then there is no way the husband who starts. Then says that Mpuru brought the wife so that we can employ the wife. Then the governor picks up from there. The other day, then he said, we as MCAs, we are bringing our girlfriends so that they can be employed in the county government. Now, for those of us who have families now, when they say that the majority whip, for example, is the one who was being targeted that day, he has brought 4 girlfriends to be employed. 4. Now, what does the wife say? And she is there. And it's the deputy governor, it's the spouse of the governor who is saying. And when the governor stands, she doesn't deny. She picks from there and continues. So we also wanted this spouse to get off public work and just stay at home and do family business and do whatever and let the governor work. Leave her alone.
In yesterday's meeting,
yes,
what issues did the MPs raise?
The MPs never spoke in that meeting. In their meeting, they told the deputy president their issues. And we are not private to those issues. Ourselves, we were not there, and they never spoke. But they were in our meeting. So yesterday we heard our issues, but they were silent. Apart from their chairman, who stood to confirm that they held their meeting and all them, we are not privy to the issues that they gave. But we are likely to get them now when we form the 10-member committee to discuss, because the issues of the MPs now will come up. Then our issues, then the governor too has our own issues, and
something that you said. Thank you. Something that you said earlier, is that she is very popular on the ground.
Yes.
Is she still as popular as she was during campaigns?
She is popular, but I can't say as she was before campaigns, because even to the members of public, we are also telling them most of the time when they come complaining about roads and everything, call the governor. She said we should leave all matters to do with development and everything to her. Cora or the ward admin or our competitors. Those are the people she's working with. And so I don't think, because these MCAs are many too, and when they are spread out there, sending an organized message over time, because that's what we have been doing. So the popularity is not as much as it was before the elections. And of course, it's not like she was elected like by a majority of the voters. It's first past the post, because there were many opponents, okay? So, but of course, the Oloi Paloi, who our supporters are? The very bottom. Those people, they don't understand these things. They don't understand.
They don't understand what?
They don't understand
why they elected her.
No. They don't understand the impact of the governor fighting us and empowering our opponents. They don't know. They are just our supporters.
The terminology you're using is a bit disparaging.
Yeah.
When you say the very bottom,
yes,
who don't understand, who are you referring to?
So
who qualifies to be at the very bottom?
Say the levels of education, for example, can determine the people now who are you can't have like a conversation with them on matters of maybe to do with the law and everything. They just support her. If you go to people, I don't know how to do.
So are you saying essentially that if you had people who understood, people who understood the law, for example, if you're saying that if these people understood the law according to you, then they would not support her?
They would not be supporting her, because if you look at the fact that the fact that the spouse is playing in public matters, in official matters, these people are supposed to say no, this can't work. If you elected 6 people, an MCA being them, the governor should work with them. Not an alternative way of doing things. That's then, if you understand the law, the governor could not be doing roadside employment and roadside firing. For example, she went to Roirerwarera, took the one admin there. Has this one admin been working for you well? The people said no, I have fired her. So if you understand if things true, they are on record. I couldn't be coming here to say things that are not on record. On tape. So she started crying. She was a girl, the one admin in the public. Then she calls, how come I hug you, mama? Maybe I've hurt you. All these kind of
theatrics.
Theatrics.
But this same voter, DMK,
yes,
the same voter who is supposedly not understanding everything. Is the same one who elected the MCA, is the same one who elected the MP, is the same one who elected the senator.
Now, you don't expect that everybody in the public understands what happened. It's the same voter who elected people like Waititu and everybody, people who have questionable background in the Sonkos of this world, people who have been in jail and they I don't know how they left prison, and the people still vote for them because they are popular.
So that is what you're
voters,
saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Then, would what you're saying hold
democracy
carry weight with those that have
democracy has
those
those consequences? Yeah.
Number one, Kawira Mwangaza was elected as an independent.
Yes.
She did not join your party bus.
Yes.
She did not join UDA. She did not join any other political party. She went alone.
Yes.
And she beat the other heavyweights, Mithika Linturi, heavyweight.
Yes.
Kiraitu Morongi, heavyweight, and the others.
Yes.
She beat them.
Yes.
So all of you people are now salty because
She beat you.
she beat you.
No.
And even listening to even what the deputy president is saying, this person, she's only been once as a member of parliament and now she's a governor. You have to understand her. There's that bit of dismissing her because
Her victory was unexpected.
From the president.
President or deputy?
Deputy president.
Even the president
But deputy's
himself.
story is not dissimilar from hers.
Of course it isn't,
One
but
term
he says,
MP, now he's vice president. Deputy president. There's a reason why I asked you that question, Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
Are these people, as you say, is their understanding limited because of their education or is it because of their poverty?
You can talk of poverty. You can also talk of education levels, because going back to his question where he says that there is bitterness because he beat them, maybe there is bitterness on the candidates. But for the 69 MCAs in the county assembly were not vying for governor. So there is no way we can be bitter with her because she won the election. Actually, myself, I called her when I had mamas in the assembly that, governor and vizuri. Atupeleki vizuri. Everybody was complaining. When I went to the speaker's office, he's complaining. Everybody is complaining. Then, nikaona sasa we waste a lot of time here in fights. Nikampigia, governor, things are not going on well here in the assembly. Please, can I come and see you? We see how we are going to reverse this. Because the origin of all this is the governor not picking anybody's scores. The speakers, the majority leader, the person who is supposed to pass your stuff in the assembly. Everybody, she's not picking scores. I want them to talk to her and see how we can reverse the situation. Because even if we are to remove her from office, because maybe we are bitter, according to, I suppose you are right, we are bitter maybe of the election. Who becomes the governor? It's the deputy. Who chose that deputy? It's her. So there's no way the people who lost come to office. Because unless we were to remove her and the deputy, then there is an election. You can say maybe we are trying to we are trying to avenge the election. And that's not it. So I myself called her, and it's something that I was asked doing in the Senate hearings that I tried. Then apparently I'm the only person's score she picked. She was not picking even the speaker's phone. And I was, she can pick my phone. Then I told her, governor, things are not going down well here in the summer. Can I please, where are you? I want to see you now so that we can avert this. Then she tells me, you can't find me in the office. Me, I don't sit in that office. I'm in a Goji talking to the public. Unless you come here and tell me what you are telling me there, as I listen to what I'm listening from the public. I told him, I'm in the assembly. Your office is just a walk from the assembly. So I just wanted to see you. Are you coming back in time? I don't know when I'll come back. You come to Egochi. So, but apparently, we had a lot of business to do that. That was the last time I tried to talk to her. When the governor, you are trying to help, you tell her there is an emergency here, things are not going on well, let me come and see, and she tells you to go to a public rally. You're not from reading on the same page.
Mheshimiwa, there's something here.
Yes.
Somebody who has the capacity to reach the Mwananchi is a very powerful person.
Yes.
It means that despite the education levels that many of you in the county assembly has, she politically has understood how to reach whatever method she used, whether it's giving blankets, whatever method she used, she has understood what it is that appeals to people, which means she is an astute politician.
Now, are you telling us to be like her?
No. I am not. I am simply saying she is not to be underestimated.
We are not underestimating her. And I think she is governor because even these two opponents underestimated her.
Yes.
the Kiraito and Mithika Rinturi, they were not taking the theatrics she was doing in the field seriously. Where she comes with a cow, gives in a public rally, who is the poorest person here? Somebody comes up, you give them a cow. Then members of our church, they go to that family who took the cow. They tell you can't keep this cow. 20,000. They take the cow. They go to an next rally with it. Because those people are not there, they go to another constituency with it. Then she was giving, she was the women rep, so she and GAR funds. She buys gumboots, a whole truckload of them. She goes dishing gumboots during the rainy season. People are so happy about it. So those were and these other candidates were dismissive of the theatrics she was using. And she used that to connect a lot with the people down there. Then she has her TV. Our TV station does not follow any procedure or any rules from the Communications Authority. They air raw stories. They don't edit anything. So they go pick the raw stories. Then they air one story can run for 30 minutes.
Is her TV station popular?
It is.
Then
Then
connecting.
she's
The whole
connect-
message here is that
Then
she knows
now
how
we
to
bring in
connect.
the issue of religion, something that I don't like discussing. No, she is a bishop. She goes to a rally. You tell her your problems. She prays for you. Your problems are solved. You go home.
Again,
What's the problem?
Connecting with the
connecting
people.
with the people.
Yes. Now she sits down with us.
Yes.
To discuss projects. Now there's another area that we disagreed. We tell her as we want to do roads, fix bridges, fix schools. She tells us those things are not going to get you votes. You people, what you should be concerned about is how you get back to office. Be politicians. Stop these things of doing long-term things. Let's do short-term things. Siju, you are telling me we do roads, you do classes, you can do these county tractors.
So how
they
do
can
you-
be grading
how
roads.
will you strike the
Let us do the short-term fixes that will make people happy. Actually, our slogan is making Meru happy. So for her is the short-term things that make people and excite them, but they have no longevity. Of course, they will keep
Now,
us in office.
You can
but
clearly see.
we
see
don't
what
connect
you
on
are.
that.
You are stuck with her for
Yes.
the next 5 years.
Yes.
How will you make these things work?
Now that's where we are. We are forming a committee so that we can make it work. So I don't want to preempt as to what we want to do when we sit down with the governor is, first of all, the bursary funds should be left to MCAs. Number two, the one allocation for development, we should be left to the one development committee. Once we form the committee in consultation with the governor, then those committees together with us now will be proposing which projects to be done equitably across the wards. Then we know each ward will get what amount of money from development. Then we give her the projects so that they can go and implement them. So that's what we want them to sit down and agree on. And I think that's what we'll be driving home. Because like in my last term, the reason why I got re-elected, I do long-term things. I don't work. Maybe I'm not a good politician.
You don't make people happy.
But
you're a very seasoned politician. Your
Yes.
politics began in college.
Yes,
Yes,
but
with college politics. And that usually is very vibrant. So you're seasoned.
That is the grassroots.
That's grassroots.
So for me now, I like telling people we sort out long-term things. Like when you give us bursary, the governor says, divide a formula, the one that she's using, because she's the one giving bursaries together with the ward admin, says, every ward has 3 million, divide by 300 each child to get 10. So every ward will get 300,000 shillings. But for her, and she says, you'd rather give 300 people in your ward bursaries. You have 300 followers who get 10,000 each, like what you have been, and like what I've been doing. For me, I go for maybe bigger numbers, give 1,000 people, like 4,000 shillings instead of 300 people. No, I give 1,000 people 4,000 shillings instead of 300 people 10,000 shillings, so that I reach out to more. But for her, give big money to a few people who will be your fanatics. So that's no, and then there is also, we need to establish need. In our formula, you cannot establish need, because how can the one admin, no, because there is no committee or anything, how can one single person establish who is need? The one admin is the one being given forms to our one bursaries. But for us, we need to form committees drawn from the villages so that we can identify the needed kids there. So what I did in my term, and I think it got me re-elected, I used to set aside, like, out of the 3 million, I used to set aside 500,000 for scholarships. There are like 5 kids in each year that I used to give like 50,000. These are very bright kids who I know can go very far by the parents are poor, maybe they are tea pickers and all that, they cannot be able to take them to national schools, those who are 400 and above. Then from that lot, I am taking so some of them have gotten A's. Those who did KCSE in April 2022, one of them has been admitted to Cornell University in New York. The other one is going to Smith College in Massachusetts through the Education USA. That's how I link them up. So for me, I have a story to tell about these funds. Even for me, I look for a solution with these funds. Now, for her, she wants us to use it to win elections. Now, for me, I differ with her on that, basically. But of course, our formula will work.
You will come again. After you go for your MCA's retreat in Arusha and before you meet with the governor next time, let's meet again and you tell us exactly what you'd like to do. Asante sana for joining us.
Thank you.
Dennis Kiogora, DMK, is the MCA for Abogeta Ward in Meru County. He's also the minority whip in the county assembly. Good morning, 8 a.m.
Azimio Moja One Kenya party leader Raila Odinga has criticized the top leadership of Kenya Kwanza administration for using the pulpit to outline government agenda. Speaking in Mombasa, the former Prime Minister maintained that churches are houses of worship and that it is in bad taste to discuss matters that are political to congregants who are only after spiritual nourishment.
I've also actually requested other politicians to desist from politicizing the church service. That when we go to the church, we go to pray. When we want to talk about politics, we get out of the church and then talk politics. We should not be given government programs or the government is doing in the church. That is politics. Let us go and pray with Christians and talk about the politics outside the church.
Raila at the same time dismissed claims that the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition was staring at disintegration. He further scoffed at claims former Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho was pulling away from his Orange Democratic movement, saying that Joho is out of the country, but when he's back, he will be joining the party to further push the party's agenda forward. Thika Town lawmaker Alice Ganga says that the current formula used to allocate National Government Constituency Development Fund is discriminatory and therefore ought to be reviewed. The legislature cited the share that her constituency receives, noting it was inadequate and cannot address the demands of residents whose population is over 400,000. Speaking during a public participation forum on this year's NGCDF priority areas, the outspoken MP argued that the formula should factor the numbers and as such densely populated constituencies should receive double allocation. She regretted that her constituents have been getting a raw deal in allocation as compared to those in less populated constituencies. She gave an example of constituencies where learners receive full scholarships through secondary and university education, whereas the same cannot be replicated in Thika Town due to the high population of learners. And leaders in Kitui County have petitioned Interior Cabinet Secretary Professor Kithure Kindiki to order the eviction of camel herders from the county. The herders are said to be grazing their livestock inside Kora National Park and Mwingi National Game Reserve and deliberately invading private farms. The leaders, who held a security crisis meeting together with the local administration and residents, attributed the rampant killing to camel herders who graze in the nearby parks and game reserves. Kitui Senator Enoch Ombo claimed that the herders are causing insecurity in the area, sentiments echoed by Mwingi North MP Paul Nzengo. And Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome has warned politicians against making misleading information on the transfers and dismissal of police officers. Koome issued the warning amid reports that some politicians have threatened to transfer or dismiss some officers. He asked the leaders to refrain from making such reckless remarks that will cause disaffection within the National Police Service. He consequently asked all police commanders to continue discharging their official duties professionally without favor or fear of intimidation. The National Police Service Act stipulates that it is only the Inspector General of Police who can effect transfers of police, whereas it is the police internal unit that can dismiss an officer upon investigations of violations committed. And the suspect in the death of 7 family members who perished in a fire tragedy in Ngimari village in Runyenjes, Embu County in October last year has finally been arrested. The family, comprising the father, mother, 2 daughters and a son and 2 grandchildren, died after fire gutted their 3-bedroom timber house. Embu East Sub-County Police Commander Jen Waruinge said the suspect was arrested in Navaholo, Kakamega County, after being trailed by detectives. Waruinge said they will transfer him to Embu for further questioning before being arraigned. And 21 people were killed when a bus heading for the Kenyan capital Nairobi crashed shortly after crossing the border from Uganda, the latest in a recent spate of deadly road accidents. The Ugandan government is planning to issue new measures to try to improve road safety after such an accident, especially during the festive period. Ugandan Regional Police spokesperson Rogers Taitika said that 21 people were confirmed dead after the accident. Those killed were mostly Kenyans, but also included 8 Ugandans. And Russia's defense ministry says it has killed more than 600 Ukrainian servicemen in a massive rocket strike on 2 buildings in eastern Ukraine, temporarily housing Ukrainian forces. They could not immediately verify the defense ministry's assertion. There was no immediate comment on Russian claim from Ukraine, though the mayor of Kramatorsk, the eastern Ukrainian town of Russia, said it targeted earlier on Sunday that nobody had been killed in an attack on various buildings in the city. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
A few minutes after 8 o'clock, and we're looking at traffic that has built up quite some on the Thika Superhighway coming into the city. Everywhere, Najam, and that's what it looks like today. Imaradaima, crazy over the drift, getting towards the, General Motors. And then now we're looking at Uhuru Highway, packed from the Nyeri Stadium roundabout out into the city and well into Westlands. Langata Road is also looking busy, as is Raila Odinga Way for the first time in a long time. Gong Road, busy as well. We're looking at Jogo Road now, heavy traffic in and outbound, and it's spilling over towards Landis, out towards Kamkunji. And where is this? This is coming out of Westlands on Wayaki Way. And all we see on the Thika Superhighway this morning is red, red, and more red. It's doing the same thing on Kiambu Road this morning. In and outbound traffic is heavy. It's also heavy on Limuru Road, well into the belly of Gigiri, coming from Thigiri Ridge and Wayaki Way as well. It's Monday. Everybody's back. Let's keep an eye on things. Let us know what's going on where you are. SpiceFM, KE on Twitter. Let's keep things moving this morning.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
8. Welcome to the third hour of The Situation Room. This is Kenya's biggest conversation. We are live every weekday morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. live on SpiceFM, live online on YouTube and Facebook. And we have these conversations each and every day. Yes, after that conversation in the last hour with the MCA from Meru County, we now move into another conversation, but also reminding you of, do you know of Kenyan legendary journalist John Allan Namu? Of course you know John Allan Namu, and you know last week we hosted him here. He was telling us about this new show that's airing on Maisha Magic Plus, The Last Door, which is Kenya's first ever local true crime documentary series. The core of this series is to look deep into Kenya's most mysterious and unsolved criminal cases. It airs it aired yesterday, and it will be airing for the next 7 Sundays, at least season 1, and then maybe season 2 comes on Sundays at 8 p.m. on Maisha Magic Plus, DSTV channel 163 and GoTV channel 8. Pay your DSTV and GoTV subscription today. Get a free upgrade to watch this show. So to get this is just dial star 423 hash. Star 423 hash. To buy or stay connected to DSTV, GoTV, Maisha Magic Plus to watch The Last Door. C.T. Muga.
Yes.
The Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra.
Indeed.
How many inches again?
14.6.
Hey.
You know, as Ndu was speaking earlier on about what you could do with the Z Flip phone, so what occurred to me was, yes, you can actually watch a movie on your Z Flip phone, but that Z Flip can speak to the Tab S8 Ultra, and you can watch that same movie on a much larger screen, and with greater clarity.
Are you trying to dull my pencil?
No, I'm enhancing it. I'm talking about connectivity. You see? Okay. Companionships within companionship.
Voila.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it is, eh? Okay. You have the proverb?
Yes, I do. From the country of Lesotho. Cattle are born with ears, horns grow later.
Cattle are born with ears, horns grow later. What on earth do they mean? So yeah, because this is a very obvious thing. So what's the import of this proverb?
Are horns like a crown for cattle?
Well, from a human perspective, yes.
No, I mean for the cat, from the cow itself.
From the
cow itself. When you have horns, you've achieved something in your cattle, like in your bovine life.
As I said, from a human perspective, yes.
For your bovine life, you have the horns, right? But so if you've gotten the horns, you've achieved something. But we've all started at the same place.
Yes, I think you're on the right track, because consider for a second, when we say somebody has grown horns, what do we mean?
They've reached another level.
Yeah, and they feel like they're displaying a certain sense of better than.
But you've had to have lived with the ear first.
Yes, but you're born like everyone else, because everyone is born with ears.
Voila.
And then somewhere along the line, because of whatever
biological thing.
Yes. So
the horns come later, so just relax.
The horns come later.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Sawa. This is sour.
This is sour?
This is sour.
All right.
This is sour. We have a guest in the studio. His name is David Njane. David is an activist for the LGBTQ community in this country. David, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Santi.
Now, we've had conversations about LGBTQ, the LGBTQ rights, the issue of legislation, whether or not the issue of LGBTQ in Kenya, and comparing LGBTQ community in Kenya and other parts of the world and all. This past weekend, the LGBTQ community in Kenya has been in the spotlight because of the gruesome murder of an LGBTQ activist whose body was found dumped somewhere in Eldoret. And the entire conversation, particularly on Friday, on social media, on international media, was that this could have been a hate crime.
Yeah.
Crime caused by homophobia. And then as investigations are continuing to unravel, then it turns out that, all right, so somebody who police are dealing with people who are very well known to the person, and the person who's been arrested is somebody who was living with him. Police are saying, we still don't know, we're still conducting investigations, we will go to court after we conclude the investigation. So we don't know yet what happened, the cause of this, the motive, and who was behind the killing. However, it brought to the fore the issues of LGBTQ. Were you among the people? Okay, no, before even we get there.
Yeah.
As you say, you're an activist. What do you mean by an LGBTQ activist?
When I say I'm an LGBTQ activist, what I mean is that I'm an individual who tries to push for rights of a marginalized group. The LGBTQ community is a community that is marginalized. In Kenya, it's one community that has been sidelined. It's one community that has been, let's say, swept under the carpet. It's one community that their issues, whatever they're going through, has not really gotten into the mainstream and everything. So what I mean when I'm saying I'm an activist, what I do is I try to push for some of these rights, to push the issues into the mainstream, into the media. Sometimes try to talk to people who are in positions of power, trying to find if there's a way we can get their issues out there, because they are very important. The issues are very important because they are part of the community. We can't just ignore these people. It's a group of people, and we live among them. In fact, let me tell you, every Kenyan right now at least knows a gay person or a lesbian person. They are aware of a lesbian. They know somebody who identifies as a gay or a lesbian. So we cannot ignore these people, this group of people.
Can you
So
really
what
say
I
that
do,
every Kenyan knows?
At least.
Are we saying because for them to know, it means that this person has actually come out to say, "I am."
And that is
Do we have many people in this country who come out to say, "I am gay, I am lesbian, I am queer"?
And that is the saddest part. Many people are not confident enough that if they go out there and if they speak their mind, if they say who they are, they're going to be accepted for who they are. I mean, like, you've seen what happened to Edwin Chiloba. It's very sad. In fact, you could see the reaction at first. People, in fact, thought that this was a hate crime. You see? I mean, like, and that is an issue that I think we need to address about the community, because people are afraid of coming out because they are afraid of being targeted. They are afraid of being singled out. And that is the reason why I think many people who, in fact, I know many gay people and many lesbians and many people who identify as that particular side of the society, and they are afraid of coming out.
But the issue, David, like I'm asking is, do people know?
Yeah.
When we say that there is a vibrant community, for there to be a vibrant community, it's people who've come out and said publicly. Are there many people who've come out in this country and said publicly? Or is it association because you're looking at somebody's mannerisms and therefore you assume because of the way they behave, they could be gay, or because of the way they dress, they could be LGBTQ, but they haven't come out to say it.
Yeah, and not many people have come out. Let me tell you the truth. No, not many people have come out. The space that I'm in is a very unique space. The space that I'm in, because I get people who come to me and they talk to me. And the problem is, and as I've told you, the problem that these people are afraid is being targeted. So they won't come out to you. They won't come out to you. They will come to me because I'm a person who has tried my best to show myself that I support these people. I mean, like, you have to be out there and show these people that you support them, that you can that they can trust you. Unless they will never come to it and they'll never come out. And that is a problem. We need to reach to a point that we are able to accept these people for who they are. Not like necessarily just give them rights, not like just like that. But we need to accept them as part of the society and slowly integrate them. And that is what is going to bring these people out here, and the issues are going to be very well had.
So, David, on to what end?
Yeah.
And I asked this. So, how do you then, as David, identify with them to be able to help? I mean, and then to help in what area? To help to do what? To help to realize what? How do you identify with the community?
My place in the community.
And why would they come to you?
My place in the community is very unique because I offer visibility. You know. What I give these people is I give them a space. I give them that confidence. I give them that area. Like, I just enable them to be who they are. Like, you know what I mean? I just give them a space for them to understand that they are not different from other people. They're not different. These people are not different. But when they are out there, when there are other people, they feel like they're different. They feel like they are targeted. And when they come to me, when they approach me, they feel safe and they're able to talk about their issues with me. So, like, most of the people that I talk to are young people. And you see, like, one thing I like about young people is that they are very much empowered and they are willing to talk and they're willing to come out. But as I've talked to older people, I've noticed that most of them never come out. But let me tell you, there are people who are in their 30s and 40s, people have families who identify as gay, and they never tell anybody around them. They come to me and tell me that, David, I'm ABCD, and so what I do is I offer trust and offer that space for those people to feel safe, to be able to, but life's not always about life revolves around many things. You need to be emotionally healthy. You need to feel psychologically, life all around. You see. So you're going to find that there's a gay person, right, or a lesbian, and she has money, she has a good job, she has everything. But there's one particular area of her life that she feels that is incomplete. You see, and that is what I try to do. Yeah.
What drove you into this? What led you to become an activist for the LGBTQ? What motivated you?
Yeah, I'm going to take you back to when I was in campus. Yeah. When I was in campus, I had a friend.
How long ago was this?
That was around 4 years ago. Yeah. I had a friend who identified as gay. Yeah. I won't say his name today, but I think he was going to listen to this show. He knows I'm talking about him.
Okay.
I had this friend. He was gay, and he used to tell me I was his confidant, because one thing I was able to come down to a place where I was able to understand him, talk to him, and listen to his issue. And he used to tell me that every time they go out he cannot openly talk about his issues. He cannot openly talk. He's afraid of what the reaction is going to be and everything. So the conversations that I had with him, many conversations, it allowed me to see, to understand. And he also connected me with other people in the community. And I was able to see that these people, there's something about these people. I mean,
so what were the issues that he was facing?
The issue
from
one of them was hate. Let me tell you, one of them was hate. In fact, they could go to a club.
Where would hate come from?
The hate would come from...
If he's living his life,
yeah,
he does not have any label that says, I am gay.
Yeah.
Why would people hate him?
I mean, they go, for example, if you're in a club, let me tell you, if you're in a club, or even in a dating space, or if you're trying to find a partner, let me tell you, some people are targeted for just dating. You see, for example, one of the biggest issues he told me that is being targeted for just being gay. Somebody might just target him randomly.
How?
Somebody might say that I like you and everything. You see that, you see that kind of conversation, yeah. And there's
so somebody hitting on him.
Yeah, but I think that is a word. Somebody might hit on him, but their motive is not trying to get to know about him, but it's trying to attack him. And they could go to clubs and they could be attacked. Sometimes by...
This is physical attack?
Yeah,
or verbal
physical attacks. And that that led me to try and empower these people and try to talk to them, try to provide them a safe space. Yeah, things like that. Let me tell you, it's a very sad situation. It's a very sad situation, being that particular. It's a very sad situation for those people.
So after listening to this friend of yours,
yeah,
you then decided that you want to be an activist.
I decided that I want to play a role. I decided that these are human beings. These are part of the society. We can't just sweep them under the carpet. These are human beings.
So what do you do as an activist then?
What I do as an activist, and I told you, my biggest, what I do is I try to give these people a platform to feel the trust, to feel accepted back in society, to feel like they belong.
How do you do that?
I meet people. I organize some meetups. I also meet individuals, but most of my work I do online.
So you organize events.
Yeah, I
this
can organize
events
a meetup
for people who identify as LGBTQ.
And let me tell you, one of the biggest problems with organizing those events is the fact that the people, in fact, don't really believe that they're going to also to be safe. I really need to assure these people, you see. But I try my best to convince them that it's a safe space.
So how do you organize such an event?
Through my online platforms, through Facebook and everything, WhatsApp. I try to find people who identify like that. People who have come to me, called me and told me that, you see, I need to feel, I need to be part of this group. I need to be part of this.
Then what happens in the event?
What happens? The most important thing is we talk. You see, let me tell you, conversations
just
are
like
very powerful.
Fellowship.
Yeah, it's like a fellowship, right? Conversations are very powerful. We have very powerful conversations. And those conversations, I think they give these people confidence. They give them the feeling of being part of something bigger than who they are. Because when they're alone right out there, they feel alone. They feel alone. And when we talk, they feel like they are part of something. Yeah.
So so this is the thing.
Yeah.
How is this something then translating into their lives being made better, as is different from having a conversation with people?
Yeah.
Because some of the things that we hear on a regular basis is people being stigmatized, is people being held prejudice against. There are people then who are discriminated against for 1, 2, 3. So how does it actually help to make a difference? How does it start to handle things of homophobia? How does it work for them to actually be part of this, and then they find that these things are either eliminated in their lives or that things are actually getting better?
You see, these conversations that we have, these people are not only targeted to these people. You see, like this something that has an appeal not only to the community, but to the larger Kenyan community. It has a nationwide reach. You see, so what we try to do is we try to educate the people that these are not like animals, these are not subhumans. Let me take you back to when there was the conversations about women's rights. But let me tell you, there was a time when women couldn't vote, when people thought these people their votes were not valid. You see, so I think it's something that will take time. It won't just happen overnight. It will take time.
Can I ask this question?
Yeah.
If you look at our constitution,
yeah,
does our constitution cover, or does it provide a cover in terms of the rights that people who recognize and acknowledge themselves to be gay can actually enjoy? Are there rights within our constitutions that people belong to the LGBTQ group can actually enjoy?
Sadly, no. I mean, like, there are some rights that they have, but when it comes to rights of, for example, they cannot marry. In fact, they cannot marry. They cannot. The constitution, in fact, bans homosexuality. I think you know that, right? And if they are caught, they can be sent to prison for 14 years. And that is the saddest part. We're not trying to change the constitution right here. We're not trying to change the constitution and trying to tell people no. What we're trying to do is, first of all, get to the people. Let the people understand, because the laws cater for the people. The laws are there to serve the people. The laws are not there to serve the government. The laws are there to serve the people. And if the people themselves can be able to see how this thing is going to benefit them, because laws are not permanent. Let me tell you, laws are not permanent. Laws are amended, laws are changed based on times, based on what the people demand, based on what people want, right? And if we come up together, and let me tell you, many things will change by just, like, the law has a lot of power. The law can change. The law can change the attitudes of people on something. So if we can be able to, with time, to change some of these laws, we can change the attitudes of these people, of Kenyans towards this issue. Yeah, and
You could, but you see, there's what you may call the socialization of a people within the context of a country, and you'll find the people adhere to what we call, within the socialization, what we call the cultural norms that people are brought up with. And within this setting, there's also now the religious influence that people are brought up with. Now, yes, it influences the way people do things, but if I may just pick one activity that is a growth industry in this country, it's called corruption. Right?
Yeah.
It is against the law to bribe, but people bribe as though bribery is going out of fashion. I mean, it's like you every opportunity. And why? Because bribery provides you with a shortcut. Okay?
Yeah.
So there is, yes, what the law states, then there is what people find to be convenient. Even when it goes against laws that are laid down. And then our constitution has something called a Bill of Rights. It's very broad, but within that Bill of Rights, would you then not say that whether you are LGBTQ or not, as a citizen of this country, those laws or those rights also cover you as an individual?
So, I mean, even as you're fighting for the rights of David, are you a member of the LGBT community? Are you one of them to be able to then fight and represent the rights which you feel are important to them?
I work with the community. I work with the community. Let me tell you, I work with the community. The reason why I'm saying this is because, I mean, it's the same way. You don't have to be a woman to fight for women's rights.
No, I asked a question.
Yeah.
So I'm asking,
I'm
are
not
you
gay. I'm not lesbian. But I think this thing is important. I'm not. I'm not part of that community. Let me just say that I'm not. I'm not part of the queer community. But I think it's important that we are able to recognize these people. Let me tell you, there's an issue of mental health. There's an issue of mental health, and that is something that is really affecting these people. And we can solve a lot of things by giving these people space. Yeah. So to answer your question, I'm not. I work with the community. Let me just say that I work with the community.
Like you told us, you organize events, you bring them together, you organize spaces for them to meet, spaces for people who identify as LGBTQ to have conversations, to share their experiences, what they're going through and what they'd like to see happen.
Yeah.
From your interaction with very many people, have you met people who you could look at and think from how they behave, this could be imposters?
Let me tell you, you cannot identify a gay person by just looking at them physically. It's very
difficult. But once you interact with them,
it's very difficult.
Once you interact, okay, the people that you work with, do they talk about, so and so? Maybe we are operating in what we think to be a safe space, but there's an imposter who's here who is, like you said, people would hit on your friend, not because they were really interested in them, but because they were just imposters who wanted to harm them.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
In your events, do you get such people?
And that is where I was going. So first of all, you cannot identify a person whether they are gay or not. But just looking at them, it's virtually impossible. The same way you cannot tell thoughts of a person by just looking at them. Some people walk in plain sight. People walk in plain sight and they are part of the community, but you can never tell. It's virtually impossible to tell. So to answer your question, I mean, like it has to be like you just have to develop trust. Like sometimes it's about trust, and that is the issue. Some people are abusing this trust. There are some people who are abusing this trust, and we still have that problem right now in Kenya. There are some people who are abusing this trust because when we come together in a group and we are talking about these issues, right, we need to be open to one another because we need to discuss the issues that are affecting us. So there are people who might come there, but it's not very often that they come. I've never myself really been in a situation where I've been like verbally attacked, like seriously, But let me tell you, there are some people who are abusing this trust, and it's very bad, and it's a very sad situation.
So there are people who are imposters. There are people who claim to be, and they're not. There are people also who claim to be activists, but they are only here to see how they can take advantage of this community and maybe ride a gravy train.
Yeah.
Let's take a break on that note. 28 minutes to 9. This is Kenya's biggest conversation, the Situation Room. Ndu, please tell David about Kiwi and school fees.
So school fees, this is school fees month, isn't it? Everybody's looking for it. Kiwi says there's a way for you to step up and shine. So visit any of your supermarkets today, get a tin of the Kiwi black shoe polish, and under the lid you'll find a code. You will then dial *459 *5#, and you will then input that code. You will get free airtime or bundles. Then you will get a chance to enter into the draw, which sees over 6 weeks, actually it's about 6-7 weeks. Every week, you will see up to 36 people win 35,000 shillings towards school fees. Step up and shine with Kiwi.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
3, 2. Everybody, welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Neri Latifa, Muga, Madam Du, nimesalamia wote sana.
Tumepokea salamu, asante sana.
Hapa Garissa today the weather is very good, only that baridi inatupeleka mbio sana.
Sasa baridi ni degree ngapi hapo?
Hata sijui lakini madam tunakauka sana.
If you want to follow the money trail, you've got to think like a thief to be able to catch that thief.
A slap from a friend is better than a kiss from an enemy. You remember the kiss of Judas Iscariot? Iscariot.
Yes.
Is the one that imetuweka kwa hii mashida yote na
We're bringing the heat this festive season. Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji. With the hottest content this holiday. I'm telling you, have a Showmax festive.
All right,
Subscribe.
So we're looking at cloudy conditions in Nairobi at 18, highs of 26 and lows of 15. It's sunny at 15 in Nakuru, highs of 26, and we'll see highs of 24 in a sunny Nyeri at 13. It's 17 and sunny in Eldoret, highs of 24, and we'll see highs of 32 in a sunny Mombasa at 27. At 27, it's sunny in Malindi, highs of 32, and looking into Kampala, into Kisumu, it's sunny at 21, highs of 28, and highs of 28 in Kakamega, where it's sunny at 22. 22 and sunny in Kampala, highs of 27, and it's cloudy at 24 in Dar es Salaam, going to highs of 31. 17 and mostly cloudy conditions in Johannesburg, highs of 26, and we'll see highs of 34 in a hazy Lagos now. It's cloudy at 24 in Kinshasa, highs of 28 and lows of 23.
Spice up your life.
Right, so we're looking at a few minutes after 8:30 and traffic still pretty heavy in most parts of the city. Looking a little bit better coming off Mombasa Road. Lunga heavy as it is on Jogo Road going into Landis and then out towards Kamkunji. It's heavy on Langata Road and it's spilling in from Nairobi West, everywhere now spilling over to Aerodrome. And then we're also looking at traffic on Uhuru Highway into the city. Coming off a thicker superhighway that was heavy before, it's heavy now. And it's also doing quite the thing on Kiambu Road as well as Limuru Road. Traffic seems to be back into the city and everywhere you look, you will find it this morning. Hang tight, guys. It'll open up soon enough, but this is traffic hour and we're in the middle of it. Let's know what's going on where you are. SpiceFM, KE on Twitter. Keep things moving this morning.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right.
23 minutes to 9. The conversation continues. This is a Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. Remember, Showmax wants you to join them. You get to watch all the best content, movies, documentaries, sports. You can actually get to watch live TV, depending on the Showmax package that you choose, where you get to watch live news channels, live sports, and like you could have watched World Cup live on Showmax. And this is watching Showmax on your smart device, either your smart TV, your gaming console, or your smart mobile device, including City Muga's Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra with an S Pen, where the pen would not have anything to do with watching a thing, but yeah. But yeah, you know, the pen is there anyway. So get yourself subscribed to Showmax today, showmax.com. We continue our conversation with David Njane, who is an activist for the LGBTQ rights in the country. He says, you know what, I have come across people who have come to me and told me, you know, I identify as LGBTQ, but I feel that I don't belong. I feel that the society has not accepted us. And what you're pushing for, David, is for people to start being a bit more accommodating.
Yes.
Of people
Put
who
it plainly, yeah.
Just to accommodate people. Seeing very many comments on our social media today,
yeah,
and people are not accommodating.
Okay.
There's a whole, explaining and understanding what is this LGBTQ conversation that is being pushed. There are those that feel that the LGBTQ conversation is actually a Western construct that's just being pushed down, rammed down the throats of the African society. There are those that say, all right, Africans have lived with LGBTQ without necessarily having to call it anything. But why must we now raise it and make it an issue when it has never been an issue? Chiti.
You know, if you look at what we refer to as the issues around the LGBTQ,
yes,
it is an issue that minorities have faced from time immemorial. Whether it is a minority in terms of race, whether it's a minority in terms of your religious inclination, whether it's a minority in terms of you name it. It's the same issue. But the reason why issues around the LGBT group, why it becomes a pointed issue is because of the connotation and the relation to sexual orientation and preference. That is a sticking point. That, pun not intended, that is what now makes it the big hoo-ha that it is.
Yeah.
So, is it something that has to do with our own issues regarding sexual matters, our openness to it, our idea and understanding of it? Or is it something that, again, as Eric pointed to, and as Eric pointed to things that people believe, that it's a Western construct. Now, sexual activity is not a Western construct. It's a human construct. It's something that human beings are involved in. But now the deviation, when you talk about sex between men among themselves, women among themselves, now that construct is something that people have great, enormous difficulty dealing with.
Yeah, and I can tell you for sure, I mean, like, I think it's high time we need to change some of our thinking. You know, like, we need to be more open about these issues. And as a host and as my fellow has said, that it's an issue of it's a minority case. These are minority case. These are people who feel like they don't belong to the larger society. And these are conversations that we need to have. We need to like realize that. Let me tell you. I mean, like, these people, to some degree, they can be an economic resource. Let me tell you, they can be an economic resource if we can able to tap into this community very well. Let me tell you, like, you see the issues of sexual matters, but like, I've liked the fact that he has taken that angle, the issues of sex matters. There's a lot of things that can be positive, that can come economic wise, but just accepting these people and allowing these people to operate out there, like some businesses, like, you know, like stuff coming on.
But David, do people discriminate? I mean, if, let's say, for instance, someone is gay, and they have a business, do you think that business will have a problem simply because they are gay?
It can have, if they come out. And that is the issue of being targeted. Those people might target them for just being gay and operating in a business.
Do you
People
know
might
why I
not want
brought
to come
in the
there.
issue of minorities?
Yeah.
Let's say, for instance, you go to any part of the counties that we have in this particular country, right? What you will find is that every county is dominated by a certain ethnic group. That's where they come from, geographically.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there'll be other smaller groups within. Now, people will know that this person comes from a certain ethnicity. They will know, because with time you get to know.
Yeah.
Now, are we then saying that if they're involved in a business or that they're involved in some activity, that they will be discriminated against? Yes, in some cases they are. But the cases of discrimination, would you say that they dominate the landscape of the business communities, or would you say that it is the minority who face discrimination?
Let me tell you. You know, like the issue of tribe. Right now, people have become more educated. Right now, okay, people have come to understand that a tribe does not define like your ability to do business, your ability to work in a society. It has not. People have come to learn that. Like many, I think years ago, people used to like define themselves based on their tribe. Like, I'm this tribe, so we work in this particular area.
Are you saying this? They don't anymore?
Today, let me tell you, the particular area where I work, I deal with all tribes. I deal with all tribes. Everybody. It doesn't matter whether you are a Kamba, whether you are a Maasai.
Your business is in Nairobi, is it not?
Yeah, it's Nairobi. Yeah.
Okay, now, The question why I brought in the discussion of the counties where you find a dominance of a particular ethnic group, would that same concept work in a county? Let's say your ethnic origins is, say, in the coast of Mombasa. Okay, let's say. And you started a similar business, say, somewhere in, say, Kajiado County or Turkana County. I'm simply saying that what I'm leading to is this issue of discrimination. Why I brought it down to the discussion of minorities, I'm actually asking the question, is it something that we have which is innate in us and we simply look for an avenue of expressing it? And when it touches now on sexual orientation, because the bane of contention when it comes to LGBT groups, it is, in my mind, you can talk about many other things, but it boils down to that. And the feeling is that there's something absolutely off, wrong. Men having sex with other men, women having sex with other women. It's an issue.
Let me tell you, nobody's trying to tell straight people or people who don't identify as gay to be gay. Nobody's doing that. And I think that is one of the reasons, let's say, why people are trying to fight this. Because they think that when we try to push this agenda, we are trying to convert people. Nobody's trying to convert anybody. And I think that could be the biggest problem because, like, for example, a mother could be at home with her kids and she's afraid that if the kid sees a man kissing a man, then the kid will turn into gay and stuff like that. And I think that is the issue. People think that we are trying to convert people. We are trying to turn people into something that they are not. And nobody's doing that. What we are trying to do is trying to help the people who are already like that come out and accept themselves for who they are and not be and not be afraid and not be forced to engage in relationships that they are not really comfortable with. Because I think there's something about being emotionally healthy and being psychologically healthy that is really important for a fulfilled life, for a complete life, a life that you feel is really worth it. Yeah.
So, what you're saying is that there's no real push to have anybody converted, but what there is now is for people to be accepting of anyone who is LGBTQ or anybody else for that matter. So you're saying the push really is to have people accepted and to get them to be part of society without any issues of discrimination whatsoever.
Let me take you back to the US elections back in 2020. There was a candidate. I don't know if you really followed those elections. I think you followed those elections very well. There was a candidate who was gay, and he went on to and he used to go to rallies, to TV stations, and he would proclaim that he's gay. And there was and the society didn't measure his ability to do politics, to run the nation based on his sexual orientation. You see, the same way we want women and the youth and the people with disability to be able to participate in the nation building process without being discriminated, without being marginalized or being defined by what they are or what they identify as. You see, so we want to be able also to push these people to be able to participate in our society fully, just openly, who they are, without lying, without covering themselves with stuff that they are not. Like, just come out as you are, tell us what you are, and we will accept you just the way you are. I mean, that is what we are pushing for, man. Because I was very challenged when I saw that candidate. Like, it was something that was an eye opener because he went out there and people loved him because of what he had, because of what he was telling the people, not because of who he was, but what he was, but what he presented. And that is what and that is the direction that I want us to take, like the direction that we don't judge people just because we don't judge them.
How prepared is the Kenyan society to open up? Because that's it. It's all about, we call it openness, an open society where free flow of ideas. If the world itself is controlling ideas and thinking, okay, so there's too much thought on one side and then there's too much thought on the other side. What did it take for our journey to get there?
Let me tell you,
It's gonna take.
over the years, I've come to understand the power of media, the power of governments, the power of. Let me tell you, in fact, it starts with the media, and it's going to take a long time, but we need to be able to change some of these conversations because I mean, like TV shows, the media, everything. We need to shape our society in a way that does not sideline some people. It's going to take a long time. It's not easy because it will take a lot of effort. It's been many years. It's been many years we've been trying to do this, but sadly, as Edwin Lekapo Chiloba died, and there was an uproar. So that was really an eye-opening situation for me because it told me that people deep down in their hearts they are still against. They still feel some form of resentment because the first reactions were very hateful. The first reactions were like, oh, maybe it's good that he went, maybe like stuff like that. People were like praising the.
But surely, David, the people who commented,
yeah,
would they form a majority? I mean, would they represent a majority of sentiment about this? Because even if someone declares themselves to be gay, I mean, is the death of an individual is the death of an individual.
Yeah.
Now, the manner in which this young person died is terrible. It doesn't matter what his orientation is, whether he was an atheist, a Satanist, it doesn't matter. Because he's a citizen of this country, he's someone's brother, I mean, he is part of this society. Now, that we have an issue, and I'm saying we because according to what you're saying, many people had an issue. But I'm asking, we just came from an election.
Yeah.
Did you see the amount of bile and vile comments that people were expressing when it came to election? Did you see? This election wasn't violent, but in past elections, we've had those things. My question about what I call the inherent bias that we tend to have and which look for an opportunity to express itself. More so with something we don't fully understand. Now, what Eric mentioned with regard to the Western influence, yes, we've had gay people in African society, but how did we handle the matter? How did we approach it?
Okay.
How was it handled?
How was it handled?
People knew, and it was not something that people advertised or talked about. It was known, and people talked about it quietly, and that was it. That was simply it. It was accepted. So and so.
It was never amplified, but neither was it criminalized.
Not really. It's like knowing that someone is a night runner. Okay? That's their inclination.
But you don't go to their house in the morning and poke at them and say,
No. It is known and then it's accepted. So and so. It tends to have some interesting habits.
When night falls.
And when night falls. And it is left that way.
Yeah.
Minorities in terms of the peculiar behavior or interests or inclinations have always existed. The Western idea about it is what I would refer to as the in-your-face approach to it.
Which is making sure that
you know and making sure you accept.
Telling you to acknowledge it. Not just accepting, but acknowledging.
Yes. Now, that is what you'd be told in many ways is an African.
And let me tell you, you see, today we live in a democratic world. You see, we live in a world where there's a constitution.
It's a global village.
It's a global village, yeah? We have laws, we have constitutions, and we have reached a point where we need to all feel represented in that constitution. We all need to feel like we have a place in that constitution. Because this constitution defines every single part of our lives. We don't live in a world where we have a part of Kenya that is not governed by the constitution. If that was possible, we could have accepted your idea that we can just leave them they are gay. We can leave them. But we live in a country where every particular every action that you engage in is governed by the constitution.
Yes.
So we need to have a section. There needs to have a section in the constitution that deals with this particular group, that recognizes these people. Because if for example a person was arrested for being gay, you see there's a particular part of the constitution that is going to criminalize them, right? But if there was that particular part of the constitution, because we can just accept these things for just being there. We can just accept them. But what if you are caught? What if you are caught? Then the minute the constitution will criminalize. So every part of your action is governed by the constitution. And for these people to feel safe, we need to create a part of the constitution that I think.
It doesn't discriminate. The Constitution says don't discriminate on gender, on sexuality, or any of those things.
Yeah, it does.
It's the penal code that has issues with the activity. And this is the sexual activity.
Yeah. It's considered indecent.
Yes.
And that's what I meant. If you're
you
caught in
dressing,
that particular
you
area.
walking, you talking, you living, that is your business. Yeah. Now, the thing about, a society being accepting, you mentioned even atheists and such.
Yes, and Satanists.
Do you think Kenyans are actually just, so you're an atheist, so you live your life. You're a Satanist, you live your life. You're
a witch?
You're a witch, live your life.
Just don't live in certain parts of the country.
That's the thing, As we talk about this openness and, LGBTQ rights, then the atheist rights, then, rights to freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of worship, freedom of all these things. Are there limits to these freedoms that we actually put without putting them in letter, but we are putting them in practice?
But let me tell
you,
you
have freedom of worship, but
like
do you?
Me coming here, I don't say that we don't have rights. There are some rights that we can enjoy in the Constitution, and that is a plus for us. There are some rights you can enjoy, the Bill of Rights and everything, but it's like there's a rope that has been tied on us. You see, we can't reach there's a place that we cannot really reach, which the other particular part of the site is able to engage in, right? So if that rope was losing a little bit, you see, if that rope was losing a little bit, I think things would have been better a little bit, because we wouldn't see some of these things happening, like the discrimination, the people being attacked and everything. And something that I need to say about what happened about Edwin is because you see, it is not the first time a person has been murdered very brutally, but the fact that he was gay, it sent shockwaves around the world. In fact, I was reading news from international websites, the news from international, and they were talking about this issue. It was trending, it was worldwide. So we also need to understand that this is a particular area that the society watches very closely.
Yeah, but why were they talking about it? Is because it had been positioned that way, that this was a hate murder without evidence.
Yeah, so what I see the society is watching us very closely. You see, the society it's watching every move.
The world is watching us.
Yeah, it's watching us. It's
and so what should we do?
It's like waiting for us to make the wrong move.
So what should we do?
So what
I would tread carefully because the world is watching us.
Yeah, I think no, we cannot tread carefully. I think we need to come out strongly and proclaim that what we believe in. We can't just be treading carefully all the time, because I think we need to come out very strongly and stand for what we believe in, stand on our ground. Yeah.
There is something we refer to as affirmative action. If you look at our politics, and the position of women rep in this country, it's one of the clearest forms of affirmative action. Women aren't involved in politics adequately, so let's boost their numbers. So there's a position that's created just for women. You can't be a women rep and be a man.
Yeah, you can't.
Yes.
Possible.
So are you then suggesting that there should be something that we refer to as affirmative action with regards to LGBTQ?
No. Let me tell you, I believe if you want a position, you need to go out there and earn it. Let me tell you. And that is the reason we're asking for an equal platform. I don't believe in giving, we need to give this, we need to encourage society to be able to go to a particular positive direction. But if we want these people in power, we need to be able to empower them to go out for these seats, to go out for these positions, and not just give them just like that. We can't just be creating positions for everyone, like women, gays, and everything. No, we need to have people who are going to stand in the society and proclaim their mind, and just not give these people legit positions.
Okay.
Let them go out there and fight for them. But we need to have an equal platform, an equal playing ground, and not be discriminated just because you are of whatever you stand for.
David Njane, thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Asante sana. David Njane is an activist for the LGBTQ. He says he has friends and he knows people who are LGBTQ and he advocates for their rights. Says they ought to be heard, they ought to be given space in the community. Keep it here for more conversations coming up in the next hour. This is Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room at 9 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Chief Justice Martha Koome is expected to preside over the swearing-in of the new members of the Commission on Revenue Allocation. In December last year, President William Ruto appointed 8 individuals to serve as commissioners. Those appointed are former Wajir woman Representative Fatuma Gedi, Wilfred Kutamet Olekin and Joshoi, Dr. George Jalango Midio, Hadija Ngai Juma, Isabel Nyambura Wayaki, Jonas Misto, Vincent Kuko and Dr. Chris Kiptor, the members whose term is 6 years, will be responsible for making recommendations concerning the basis for the equitable sharing of revenue raised by the national government between the national and county governments. The Commission will also make recommendations on matters concerning the financing of and financial management by county governments as required by the Constitution and national legislation. The Commission shall submit its recommendations to the Senate, the National Assembly, the National Executive, County Assemblies and County Executives. In Trans Nzoia, Governor George Natembeya said that his government has put in place strategies aimed at achieving development projects after the cases filed in court against the appointment of executive officers of various departments were dismissed. Natembeya said that he has already instructed his officials to appropriate funds in line with the budget and 5-year development plans of the county. He said that he has prioritized bursaries for bright students from poor families when schools reopen on the 23rd of this month.
Tulikuwa na challenges kidogo ya kuunda serikali hata kwenda kotini kufunga, lakini mambo tumeyamaliza. Budget hayo heshimiwa wamepitisha, pesa iko, ni kuanza kufanya tu kazi, alafu mtaiona nyinyi wenyewe. Tunataka vijana wetu ambao wamepita mtihani, wamefanya mtihani wa darasa la 8, wakapita mtihani na hawajiwezi, iko fomu za bursary mjaze mara moja. Maana tumesema wale watu ambao wanataka kulipia karo kuanzia form 1 wanakuwa ni mradi wa serikali kwa miaka 4 mpaka amalize form 4. Tumeelewana? Ilikuwa namba msiembe tunakutoa kwa hiyo program. Maana pesa na kusaidia uende upite mtihani, somee kule ng'ambo na watafute kazi huko. Hiyo ndio kazi tunataka kufanya.
The Deputy County Assembly Speaker Obed Mahanga and Chepchoin Ward MCA Peter Chikali said education is important for the county residents, especially students who desire the opportunity to study.
Governor George Natembeya ako na Natembeya scholarship. Atakuwa analipia wanafunzi full scholarship. Atatembea hapa wafanye identification, pia wale wengine ambao wako nyumbani wapate fedha na wasome vizuri.
Tunataka tupate kila ward vijana 3 mimi nitafacilitate andike ise juu ya the Trans Nzoia we want. Namba 1 atapata shilingi 20,020, namba 2 15,015, namba 3 10,010. Na pia nitawapa tikiti namba 1 na namba 2 ya ndege watembee kule coast na kusunguka na kujibarisi.
38 people died and about 80 were wounded in central Senegal after 2 buses collided Sunday. The crash, one of the deadliest in the West African country in recent memory, was one of the main east-west arteries near the town of Kaffrine, about 220 kilometers southeast of the capital Dakar. President Macky Sall said he was profoundly saddened by the accident and announced 3 days of mourning starting today. The accident occurred after the tire of one passenger bus burst, sending it to the path of the other bus coming in the opposite direction. Still in West Africa, and gunmen armed with AK-47 rifles abducted more than 30 people from a train station in Nigeria's southern Edo state. The attack is the latest example of the growing insecurity that has spread to nearly every corner of Africa's most populous country, posing a challenge to the government in advance of the February presidential election. Police said in a statement that armed herdsmen had attacked Tom Ikimi station as passengers awaited a train to Wari, an oil hub in nearby Delta State. The station is some 111 kilometers northeast of state capital Benin City and close to the border with Anambra State. Some people at the station were shot in the attack. The State Information Commissioner Chris Osa said the kidnappers had taken 32 people, though one had already escaped. And Pakistan is today expected to ask for billions in international support towards its recovery from the aftermath of last year's devastating floods and to help it better resist climate change. To meet the huge needs, Pakistan and the United Nations will co-host an international conference in Geneva, urging countries, organizations and businesses to step up with financial and other support towards a long-term recovery and resilience plan. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres will kick off the one-day event, which will also feature speeches by a number of heads of state and government. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Salcedo. Good morning.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, so still traffic on the Uhuru Highway getting out into the city, and we're looking at it getting a little bit better here and there on Mombasa Road as you're heading out towards Nyayo Stadium at the roundabout. It's heavy coming off the Thika Superhighway, and we're looking at it heavy as well coming off of Kiambu Road. Limu Road is busy as well, and we're looking at Juja Road, then trying to connect onto Muranga, busy in some parts. So traffic hour still in it. Let's see in about half an hour what it looks like. James Gishuru, also some traffic as you're touching on Wayaki Way. Your bypasses will help you out this morning. Use them. SpiceFM KE on Twitter.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latif, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
To the final hour of The Situation Room this Monday morning. Happy Monday. How are you doing? Did you manage to watch yesterday's premiere episode of The Last Door with John Alan Namu on Maisha Magic Plus? You didn't. Surely you missed out. Or did you? Well, congratulations. If you were able to watch it on Maisha Magic Plus. So yesterday he was looking at the murder of Tekra Muigai, who is the slain daughter of Senator who? Tabitha Kiroche. And the matter went through court. Now it has gone into an inquest, and the outcome of that inquest is about to be made public. So John Alan Namu spent some time, went and spoke to the family, and this is the Kiroche family, went and spoke to Tekra's friends, and spoke to the man who's accused of having had a hand in her death, and this is Omar Lali of Lamu. And all these people spoke, and John Alan Namu does that and brings it out in this particular series. Next week, he'll be doing a different story. One of the things that have happened, one of those true crime incidences that have taken place in this country, people know this happened, but people don't know exactly what happened and how it happened. That is what John Alan Namu has been spending some months doing, put together into a series called The Last Door, and it's airing on Maisha Magic Plus on DSTV. You can upgrade your DSTV or Go TV so that you can get Maisha Magic Plus. Just dial *423# today. Pay your current subscription and you get a straight up upgrade courtesy of us here. Sisi wenyewe tunakupatia wewe This is what is happening. So all you need to do is pay your DSTV and GoTV subscription today. Get a free upgrade to watch the show and so much more. Dial star 423 hash to buy or stay connected. It's on DSTV channel 163, GoTV channel 8. City Muga has the day's proverb from Lesotho.
I do.
And you said it's a constitutional monarchy. And who's the monarch?
See the king.
Oh, not a queen.
Cattle are born with ears, horns grow later.
Cattle are born with ears.
Yes.
Horns grow later.
They do.
So they signify what in this particular case? Experience.
Growth. Maturity.
Representation. Significance.
Also character.
Significance.
Like those Ankole cows of Museveni's.
And those horns are majestic.
Imagine. And that thing was born without.
Yeah, it didn't have it, and then it grew. But it tells you of the breed of the cattle, because even where in communities like, say, Australia, and communities like the US, where they do some serious ranching, some breed of cattle will be known by their horns.
By their horns.
Yes.
So it also gives you identity.
Yes, it does.
Right. All those things come with time.
They do come with the time. It's not immediate. It's not instant. No. It's with time.
Okay. Shall we talk about something that's been happening, brewing under, like sort of bubbling under? And this is with regards to Nairobi and the governing of Nairobi. Governor Johnson Arthur Sakaja has told of critics of his plans to relocate long-distance vehicles from the CBD. Speaking after attending a church service in South B yesterday, the governor said there will be no turning back on these plans. He hit out at leaders who faulted his decision to ban nightclubs from residential areas, saying improvement of residential areas and decongestion of the city is his sole responsibility as a governor. He also told critics to stop creating a rift between him and the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. He said, I respect the DP and I'd like to remind those speaking from different regions of Kenya trying to cause a rift between the county and the national government and Nairobi residents on tribal lines that they'll not succeed. There are duties for the county and the national government and we will work together. So, the decision to relocate long-distance PSVs from the CBD has put him at loggerheads with the DP, who asked him to consult before taking actions that will hurt the business of Mount Kenya people who overwhelmingly voted for him and others. So, basically the governor has said, look, we've got to work on a plan where those long-distance vehicles don't terminate within the CBD, but they terminate outside the CBD. Vehicles coming from Western terminate somewhere and Westlands. Vehicles coming from Mount Kenya terminate somewhere before they get to CBD, and so on and so forth. Look at all the areas where vehicles come from outside Nairobi. Now he says, let them not come into the CBD because they're coming to pile up and congest the CBD.
Yeah.
And this was the issue that Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President, took with. And he said, look. Before you go on and just say decree, look at the ramifications of this, the repercussions and the impact of that action. What does it mean? What does it mean to the people who are traveling? What does it mean to the businesses that are dependent on these people, on these vehicles coming to these areas where they come, the terminus? What happens to them? You can't just wake up and make some of these rules. You are basically just affecting business. I watched Rigathi Gachagua had an interview last night on Inoro TV with Francis Gashuri. And he was asked this same question. And he went at great lengths to basically explain and say again, look, if you talk about a place called Tea Room, very many vehicles from Mount Kenya terminate at that place called Tea Room. And he was saying, you know what? There are very many businesses that depend on this terminus. The fact that the matatus are terminating here, if you just one day abruptly say, all those matatus from Nyeri, Meru, like Kibia, Nyandaro, don't go to Tea Room. What are you saying? the people who are expecting, who are depending on the footfall from this, how do they survive?
Come out and then get into those vehicles and then from there go directly. And that means that people will lose out on both sides. Those who are getting onto the vehicles and those who are operating the vehicles. That people will look for another option that will then serve them better than use yours. So they're businessmen and women who are losing out on that business. The congestion of the city, however, has been a bone of contention for decades. Like how people should be able to get in and out. The city should be your least congested place when you're looking at the movement of traffic. And it is upon that premise that the governor is saying, look, come on, guys, we cannot be dealing with this issue over and over again. Millions, hundreds of millions of shillings spent for this this terminus. We are going to use it in the way in which it was designed. We're actually going to use it. And change is not going to be comfortable in the beginning, but we're going to get used to it. And that is the way we're going to do it, to have an orderly city. And that is where he is coming from. It's not emotional. It's not about who's my friend or who is not. Are we trying to get Nairobi running? Yes, we are. From the other side, whereby you want to then pander to the whims of, or the desires of business people who will see this as a real kick in the pants. If it happens, then that's where the other side is coming from.
You know, it's not the first time. Sakaja is not the first one to try and remove matatus from within the CBD. This move has been tried before. Even trying to push matatus to Globe Cinema Roundabout was a move of trying to decongest. There was a whole conversation about moving matatus and taking a terminus to where before Machakos, and then there was, what's that place called? The old railways behind Wakulima Market.
Yes.
What's it called?
I could actually see it. I'm seeing it in my eye.
Muthurwa. Yes. See? Yeah, see, that's the one.
Okay.
We could see it in our eyes, all of us. Trying to move matatus from Eastlands to terminate at Muthurwa. This Green Park thing of NMS of terminating matatus at railways. These attempts have been made before. Why do they always flop?
Is it that we're trying to apply a Band-Aid to a broken leg? Because if the discussion is about modern transportation in the city, there have been plans in the past, that well-documented plans about, say, light rails and other such accommodations, things that would accommodate more people and be able to ferry more people. I mean, the discussion we had, even with the PS for transport, right here, okay, with regards
to the BRT.
Yes. All these things are plans to try and decongest. There are those who had planned that, for instance, all the vehicles coming from along Thika Road, you stop at Kasarani.
Yeah.
Say there's a massive parking there that nobody even uses. Okay? And then from there, you get into some other form of public mass transport. Into town, that sort of thing. Now, again, all those plans, they sound good, but somehow they never seem to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay? So, it's not that plans don't go anywhere. No, plans are started by people, and if they don't go anywhere, some people have ensured it isn't going anywhere. Okay,
the anywhere is moved.
Yes, exactly. the anywhere is just extinguished, so it just ceases to exist, and a new conversation takes place. What is it about the need to have matatus out of the city? That's question number one. And because the time matatus weren't there.
Yeah,
they simply weren't there, but they came in. And they're there. So how do you accommodate the interest, not the matatu itself, the interest of that industry, so that they're part and parcel of this new change?
You know, we seem to have been caught up by the current state of affairs, where you have a multiplicity of players in a sector called the matatu sector, the transport sector. So you have very many matatus that ply a route. And so you have very many stakeholders that are involved. If you think about like those days when you're saying, when you'd have a bus that is crossing from one side to the other.
Yes.
A bus that's coming from Huruma and it ends up in Kawangware.
Yes.
And it's called a 46.
Yes.
Right? Crosses the city from one end to the other via KNH, because here KNH was now sort of a nodal
like a mini terminus where they're all sort of like interchanged.
Yeah. And all those other buses, others are doing 23, coming from, I don't know, from Westlands, crossing over all the way into Eastlands, into Jerusalem and the rest. These things worked. But because there was one, population was not so big.
Yep.
And two, there was a working system organized by the Municipal Council of Nairobi.
Yes.
And that's why those buses used to be called buses a municipal. Right? It was sort of a public transport system managed by one entity. Now we have very many entities. We have very many routes that have been created. We have very many areas where people come from. If you talk about a mass transport system, a bus transport system like what PS Hinga was doing with Thika Road, it would have ended into CBD. But then how do you create the other one that goes across the other side of town?
But you know, the
with
industry,
no lanes and such.
The industry itself has organized itself into what we call SACCOs. So they exist within SACCOs. Now, the question I asked earlier on was, how then do you bring this industry into not just the 21st century, but to meet the needs that we have while also providing the decongestion that you require? Okay? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Because it's a question of the number of vehicles that keep coming in. And we know that if you had vehicles that could carry more people, it would assist. It's not that it would... You see, the decongestion of a city is not solved by removing matatus. No. It's solved by a multiplicity of approaches. You have to have many forms of transportation within the city. Not one, many. Okay? That's where the discussion around light rails, transportation, the discussion about mass transportation vehicles, all these things take place. Now, the matatu will have its role. Now, there are those who actually study these things and they understand it in great detail. And many of them have contributed to this discussion. And we have papers lying where such papers lie as to how we can actually introduce this form of transportation within the city. It exists. Is it the will that isn't there to bring about this change? Or is it, as usual, with the Kenyan Malays, the thing that bedevils us all the time, interests that are at play here? What are we dealing with? Because in this discussion came in the issue of electric vehicles?
Vehicles, yes.
Yes. Some even exist on our roads as we speak. This discussion came in. So the problem, Eric, is not that the industry has very many segmented own. No. It's the various interests. Matatus are just matatus. The people in that business are just in that transportation business. That's what they're in. And if an alternative to what they have within their circles was provided, where money was guaranteed, are we saying that it could work? If the matatu industry came from nowhere and it's working, it means something else could work, so long as people understand that the economic interest is taken care of.
I think there are people in that sector, City, in the matatu sector, current players and influential players who are the stumbling block to that movement.
Why do you say that?
Because, like you've heard many times before, the issue of creating a mass transport system, a mass rapid transport system for the city that will include buses, light rail and all, did not just start yesterday.
No, it didn't.
It has been there for a long time. In the Kibaki years, people were taken to Bogota and other places where the transport sector players, those who were in the leadership, actually went on a government-sponsored trip to Colombia. They went and looked at what Colombia has done. Bogota rolled out a mass transit system a long time ago. It works very well. They went to other parts of the world. They have looked at it. They've come back here. They've started conversations, but it doesn't move. If the sector wanted it to move, the sector would be spearheading the talk. But you don't hear the leadership of the matatu sector actually spearheading the talk because of what we have seen working elsewhere. Actually, this thing can work here. And therefore, we have come together as SACCO A, B, C, D. We have decided to, shrink our number of matatus and invested into these bigger buses. And this is how our bigger buses are operating. Do you hear anything like that? You don't. So my issue is, I don't think it's government that is a stumbling block. I think it's the matatu sector that's a stumbling block. The people who are in government in the Ministry of Transport in the Kibaki years are not the same ones who are there today at the helm. They are different. But the matatu sector leaders are the same. And yet, this conversation is not moving.
For decades, it's been there. No,
the common denominator is these people.
Exactly. And here we are looking at a situation whereby they don't want to be uncomfortable for anything at any point. It doesn't matter what you bring. So long as it's going to pose an element of uncomfortability at any one point, they will oppose it. As it is with change. Change comes about and you have to tittle, this way or the other way. You're not going to like it. You don't want it.
Let me ask this question. If we take the view that the government actually is interested in bringing change, but they're being hampered by this grouping of individuals, who licenses them?
The government.
The government.
Who enables them to actually do their business?
The government.
So, is the government in a position to get them to do what the government wants?
It could.
Precisely.
With political will. Now, the thing is, how much leverage does the sector seem to have?
You see,
look at this move by Sakaja, right? And the reaction is not coming just from, the sector itself. In fact, the Matatu owners, Matatu welfare, and all these other Matatu things, associations are quiet. Their spokesperson is the deputy president. And his angle is, no, this is affecting business. There are people who are going to suffer. They're going to do this and the other. Why? Why would the deputy president sit back and say, okay, yeah, there's an issue here? They would be the ones who are actually going to talk to the deputy president telling him, boss, actually, this thing works for us. This thing is good. Let us support it.
If I were...
There is no political goodwill because the goodwill has been taken away by the leverage that the Matatu sector has on politicians.
What on earth would that leverage be?
Votes. Influence.
For a moment
or
there...
money.
For a moment there, I thought you were suggesting that the deputy president owns Matatus.
I don't know. I don't know.
If people in the industry can understand with great clarity how their benefits will not be eroded, do you really think that that same position would still stay? Because there are those who've argued, and I've heard this argument before, that part of the reason why you find these exceedingly dilapidated matatus on the road is because those who own them are police, members of the police service. So, they're the ones who are involved in arresting vehicles that are not. So if it's owned by such individuals, it's been said. The truth, I don't know where it lies. But there are some matatus, you look at and you feel it is better to walk. Yes. Because boarding that matatu can be a complete health hazard. All right? Now, what am I saying? The subject that I introduced when I first started, when I contributed was, one among the things I said was the issue of self-interest, which bedevils us at every stage of what we do in this country. There will be the conversation about self-interest. Whether it is political, whether it's economic, whatever the reason is, but it always rears its head. And it seems to take over any discussion you may have, so that even the benefit that was supposed to be derived and the discussion around it is now pushed aside.
It's pushed aside.
Yes.
It's pushed. And even from both sides, even if you think about, so Governor Sakaja seems, and he says he's adamant that, he's got to relocate the matatus from the CBD and they've got to start terminating elsewhere. What exactly is he building up to? Because I don't hear a proper, coherent plan that says that this is where matatus are going to terminate. Is there any bus stop that from Westlands heading all the way to Limuru, where matatus that come from that side would actually go and terminate? Well, this is bus station.
If you look at Westlands, you see that road, the side road that leads into those business establishments on the side, that's what's become the bus stop.
Yep. So there's no terminus anywhere. So he hasn't built a terminus on that side. There's no terminus on Thika Road, where he says all those buses coming from Moyale to Garissa to Meru to Nyeri, Nanyuki, Isiolo, Muranga, all of you, this is where you terminate. You don't come into town. Is there anywhere where you've seen a conversation as Sakaja is saying, let's remove these matatus from the CBD, where he's saying this is where they shall be terminating?
I haven't actually seen any.
Or from Mombasa Road and he says this is where they'll be terminating. Or from Machakos and the side of Kangundo and saying this. So what is Sakaja driving at? So that's the question you ask yourself. Okay, so what exactly is the game plan here? And if you've come from Moyale, you've alighted the bus at wherever, even if it's Ngara, how do you then cross over if you are going to Kawangware? How do you find yourself in Kawangware?
This issue of moving bus termini, it's a conversation that the bigger towns, whether it's Mombasa, Kisumu, maybe Eldoret, Nairobi, it's a conversation that has been had, because you will find that it's a discussion that is still taking place. Now, we know how the populations in these big towns increase. We know it's not something that cannot be planned for. It's something that can be planned for.
Yeah.
And the movement of these people, the service which is provided for by the matatu industry, is a necessary part of all this. Okay? Now, I'm thinking, even as you're speaking, yes, this thing was put up at the railways. Yes, it's supposed to do A, B, C, D. Oh, we get all that. But will it solve the problem? I think not. It won't really solve the problem. Where's the comprehensive plan that says, look, phase 1, we're going to do this. Phase 2, this is what we will do.
Yeah.
And phase 3, because this thing of decongestion is not just about matatus. No. It's also about people who own cars. How do you ensure that someone who owns a car will feel comfortable enough to take public transport so they don't, all these people who need to drive into town don't have to drive into town?
Yeah.
Because to say that it is matatus that are causing the decongestion, that is not true. They are not the bulk of the vehicles we have. The bulk of the vehicles are the vehicles that are owned by individuals.
Yeah.
So how do you get people to appreciate the need of coming to work without necessarily driving their own cars?
If we were to talk about a public transport system, then it has got to be run to some degree by the public. And this is by government.
It has to be.
It can't be because people come together and they are running private sector and they are doing some circle. Those are the ones that will depend on to reorganize this thing.
They won't. Because change involves cost, and they may not be willing to go into that.
Yep.
When they're making money, why would they now stop what they're doing, which is making the money, to go into something which is in the future, could make them money, as you say, but will cost them money first? Why?
Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make financial
Doesn't make sense.
Let's take a break. It's 29 minutes to 10. We want to hear from you. 0719 012 600. Do you support Governor Sakaja's move to relocate matatus out of the CBD? He says PSVs will need, long distance PSVs will need to stop terminating within the CBD and they have to move elsewhere. And he says this gear, he's already engaged the forward gear. There's no stopping. There's no turning back.
He says it's done.
He says this is done. Do you support that move? Let's hear from you. 0719 012 600. 29 minutes to 10. Ndu, the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2. They're called
Samsung
Buds
Galaxy
2 Pro.
Yes, Buds 2 Pro, taking your listening experience to that of immersing yourself in sound. And what it does is that allows you, it has some technology whereby even when you move your head, the music still remains the same. And all you have to do to activate is tap, tap, and you're in. Listening to music, joining a meeting, they fit perfectly into your ear. They're a perfect accessory to CT's 1 million inch Samsung.
What do I actually hear? Do I hear?
No, I'm just saying, you know.
Are you sensing some?
I'm sensing the color green somewhere.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Thank you very much, Eric, and it's good to be at the Situation Room.
Always a pleasure coming here. This is the most challenging interview panel in Kenya. You guys are very well informed, and as you can see, Charles today very philosophical.
To be poor in this country is the greatest sin you can commit, not just from a legal perspective, but from life generally. It is very, very skewed.
We've just heard on the floor of Parliament just most recently, a leader within the ODM saying that sisi ni ng'ombe za baba.
Yeah.
Which means that
continue saying hawa watu wamenirusha. That's all that I'm doing.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
It's 19 degrees and cloudy in Nairobi, highs of 26. We'll see lows of 16, and 18 and sunny in Nakuru with highs of 26. It'll come down to lows of 14. 15 and sunny in Nyeri, highs of 24, and highs of 24 in a sunny Eldoret at 18. 29 and mostly sunny conditions in Mombasa, highs of 32 and lows of 26. And Malindi will go to highs of 32 and lows of 27. It's sunny at 24 in Kisumu, highs of 28, and 28 will also be the high in Kakamega, where it's sunny at 25. 23 and sunny in Kampala, highs of 27, and we'll see highs of 31 in a cloudy Dar es Salaam at 27. It's 19 and sunny in Joburg. We'll go to highs of 26, and Lagos will see highs of 34. We'll see highs of 28 in a cloudy Kinshasa, currently at 24. It's 9 degrees out in Beijing. We'll see highs of 9 and lows of -7, and at 8 degrees, Paris is cloudy with highs of 9. It'll come down to lows of 5. 6 degrees and cloudy in London, highs of 9, and we'll see highs of 9 as well in New York, where it's cloudy at 5.
Yolanda Mulwa, DJ Absolute. When the gang is together, got the sugar, got the spice.
Yorada.
Yes.
I have missed you like hot hamburgers. Eh?
Like hot hamburgers.
You know, bad boys give more money than you can count.
Hey, bad boys give more money than you can count. If it's fun, it's funky, it's fresh, you're definitely going to catch it here. I don't know what you do every day from 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock, but if I were you, I'd tune in to
Sugar and Spice only on 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
So if you say it's on, then it's on. Yeah.
All right, traffic seems to be dwindling in some parts of the city. We have some that's coming off of the Thika Superhighway, but shouldn't cause much of an issue. Now we're also looking at Gong Road, which is looking a lot better now. All right, so traffic hour ends at right about now. We'll probably see some traffic going through into most parts of the morning, but should be getting better as we go along. Through the morning, talk to us on SpiceFM, KE on Twitter.
Spice up your life. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM.
Phone lines are open, 0719-012-600. The governor of Nairobi City County says matatus, PSVs from upcountry need to do what? Stop terminating in the CBD and they start working from elsewhere. Courts have halted the relocation of matatus from CBD to Green Park Terminus as the conversations continue because of protests from various people, including sector players and others who are passengers. So we are asking you, do you support this move to relocate the PSVs from the CBD? This is long distance PSVs. Let's hear Matunda in London. Good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
How are you doing?
And the team.
Good morning.
I'm fine, thank you. Pardon?
Good morning.
Morning. How are you doing? The team there is doing very well with your discussion.
Asante.
Ndio tunaamka.
Aya, siku njema. Now, what do you say about this move to relocate the PSVs?
Well, I think the move to relocate the PSVs is very, very late.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should have been done, like yesterday.
Yep.
Every developing city or town or municipality has to have a transport system that enables the economy of the country to move in a way that is organized.
Mm-hmm.
Kenya or Nairobi and Mombasa, in the days that we were growing up, had an established transport system, the Kenya Bus Services, which was doing a very good work.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Kenyans being Kenyans, When the time reached for our people to manage the system, they decided to eat the entire transport system and, bring in the chaotic system that we enjoy today, which is the matatus. You come to a small town or, called the City of London. It has an organized underground system of train. They have an overland buses, the London bus service, which is run together with the local county. And the government, the national government, puts in a bit of resources into it to make sure that the transport system works. It's not that we don't have private transporters. We have them, but they operate from outside the central business district. The long-distance hauliers, buses. I can get a bus from here to Manchester, from anywhere to any other town, but they don't come into the town center. The central business place is meant for people to do the other businesses other than just chaotic transport system, which is all over. You go to Nairobi, in the city center, you get matatus all over. Which don't give you even access for people to do other things that they're supposed to be doing. So we need to have an organized system, and someone has to come up. If Sakaja wants to do that for the city, let him be given the freedom to do it in association with the national government to make sure that we have a running and well-managed transport system. The other players in the system can join in and buy shares and make money. I think that is what we should do and make sure that we organize Nairobi. It's too late now that we are still talking about a transport system that works. We should have worked.
It should have
in the
worked
last 10 years, we had what President Kenyatta wanted to come up with, and I don't know where they died off to. But it is time that we have an organized transport system, which we do not have to keep on saying we keep out these vehicles out of the central business district.
Thank you very much, Matunda.
That's my take.
Asante sana for your take. 0719-012-600. Moses Nderito.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man. How are you doing?
Very good. Hi, CT and you.
Fine, thank you, Moses. Good to hear from you. You're keeping well?
Very well.
Asante, and thank you for calling in.
Decongestion against moving the traffic jam somewhere. So if you move the vehicles from CBD to, let's say, Green Park, have you decongested the city, or have you just moved the jam from CBD to Green Park? And then that means Uhuru Highway and Helsalasi. Yeah, so one thing I have to agree with you, Eric, public transport is a system. It's not a vehicle. It's a system. And even when you talk about those Bogotas and everywhere, all those cities, public transport is provided by the public sector, by government. It's not private. And where they're private sector players, government subsidizes. And that's why you find people moving to higher capacity buses. So you can't tell a guy who uses a 20-year-old KAX Nissan Matatu going to Parkland that he's going to invest in a train or in one of those light trains. How? You see, so we start at the wrong premise. We start by one of the things I agree with Sakaja. The only thing that's public in our PSV sector is the passenger. When Nairobi worked, the government was a shareholder of Kenya Bus Service. So if you want to decongest, number one, government must be involved. So that BRT idea was good because it's government-led. Now, down the line, you can find how do you incorporate this private sector player so that you don't remove their livelihood. How do you incorporate them? How are we incorporated in Safaricom? By buying shares into this government entity. But if we are thinking that we are going to move matatus from one place to the other, all you've just done is moved the problem, and the same thing continues. And that's the way we've been doing that for the last 30 years with no success. We've been doing that over and over and over again and expecting a different
result every time.
A different result. even SGR. The next time you have somebody from the Kenya Railways, ask them if SGR passenger service makes money. It makes losses from passengers, but it's subsidized by the profits they make on cargo. Passenger service, London Underground, does not make a profit. It is subsidized by government. So public transport in a city is a social service, must be provided by government. If you want public sector to buy bigger buses, you give them concessions and you give them subsidies for when they run off-peak without enough passengers. There is no other way.
Then there could lie the problem then, because what you're doing is you're telling all these investors in the private sector to actually sit back and let government take over their business.
For example, where there's a private sector guy, he's given a timetable. You run on a timetable. If that bus has one person, it still runs. Let it go. Yeah, it's a big bus. Maybe it carries 60 passengers. It still goes. But however, government compensates for that loss. Now, if you tell a matatu guy to drive his matatu with one passenger, he can't make money. Yeah. So government must be involved, whether we like it or not. Or otherwise, these are stories.
Big ones.
These are stories.
You know, Governor Sakaja.
And show me one country that is successful. One. With a private sector model.
Kenya.
It's not successful. It's a complete mess. Otherwise, we'll not be discussing it.
It's chaotic.
It's not be discussing it.
Moses, I was about to just point out here that Governor Sakaja has picked up as an advisor somebody who is very well known and has been credited with changing a public transport system.
Yep.
This is Professor
in
Washington
London and in other places. Exactly.
He's the
I look
advisor
forward to
on
meeting
mobility.
Yeah.
So some of these moves that Sakaja is making are from the advice of Professor Washington Ochieng, who says,
number one, he has to change the Traffic Act because he will find places where he'll be in conflict with the Traffic Act. He'll be in conflict with a lot of regulations and a lot of the city bylaws. He'll be in conflict with the act of what NTSA does and what Namata does. So we go back to what? A system. It is not an event. It is not an event. Okay. So one guy is not going to sort it out. It's just like you guys were talking about the economy the other day. It's not one thing. There are so many things that have to go into place. But we shy away because right now we are talking about, the traders in tea room. I agree. But you guys are down Mombasa Road. You don't sell anything.
Yeah.
Who said then next will be the hawkers next to the side of the road. If you then create designated bus stops, you unadhulumu hawkers.
Yeah.
Come on, we can't. We have to agree if we want order or we want to play politics or we want to do nice, put out nice words and look like we to engage. It's called kizungu mingi na katwa. It's a system. We agree there's going to be some pain for some people, but there's going to be long-term gain. And it's not a 5-year plan. It's a 20-year plan. Nobody does a transport system that is a 5-year plan or a 3-year plan. You do a 20-year plan. So you're decongesting over 20 years. What Kina Kimunya started during Kibaki time, if they had started, there would be sanity today. But politics came, and we don't have. We are back where we were.
We lost
25 years ago.
Moses,
system,
thank you.
boss. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay.
We want to hear from you. 0719-012-600. Do you support the plans to decongest the CBD by removing PSVs?
My mind is on that issue. So when we're saying that we're moving, it's just a question, and think about it in terms of physics, right? When we say that we're trying to decongest the city by making sure that vehicles, start and stop at a certain place, are we sorting out the decongestion problem? Are we sorting out the traffic issue? Are we? Is that actually what is happening?
Without
by having
other things
people
in play.
converging at one place and asking everybody who wants to then use vehicles in that area to all then come and converge there as well.
Without working on other things. For example, if you say all matatus on Thika Road should, terminate in Ngara.
Yeah.
You haven't sorted out many things.
You know, this thing starts with the planning.
You've just moved the CBD to Ngara.
It starts with the plan, huh? And that's where, like those two gentlemen we had here who are planners, come in.
Yeah.
Because, believe me, part of what they do is understanding this very discussion we're having. How do you ensure that there's symmetry with all these moving parts? You're talking vehicles, you're talking private vehicles, you're talking about people walking the streets, you're talking about buildings. One of the things that has happened, if you, over time, you observe, is the thing that has decongested the city perhaps more than anything else is the growth of the suburbs. For instance, someone who lives in Westlands or probably works there never comes to the CBD. Somebody who lives, say, in the Lavington area, let's go to the east of the Nairobi River. If you work in the area of, say, Donholm, or you work in the area of Buruburu, you no longer need to come to the CBD to shop. You'll shop right there.
Yeah.
So now, if you have hubs that can actually contain all these human activities,
all the services that you need.
Yes, including where you actually work. You see, you move that human body. That human body occupies the matatus. That's why you find them coming into town. That's why I said, I'm speaking as a layman. Now, somebody who understands the issues of planning and the details around it would be able to give a lot of meat to this discussion.
Yeah. Indeed.
So that when you talk about decongesting, it's not vehicles, as Moses clearly put it.
Humans.
It's humans, and there's a system that you put in place.
Indeed.
Then all these things fall in.
Indeed. John in Nairobi, good morning.
Morning to you. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
I would like to contribute, and one of the things I would like to say is that I think this should be like a complete process put together before implementation, because moving the matatus, or rather the long-distance vehicles, out of the CBD, then what next for the people? How will people reach those particular sections? I mean, what Sakaja should do first.
Yes, John?
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We'd lost you for a bit.
Pole. So the Sakaja should have all the stakeholders on board so that they agree on specific implementation guidelines. Because after moving these matatus all the way to, let's say, Thika Road and out of the CBD, then what next?
Yeah.
I think the reason why is going to face serious issues with some of the leaders and some of the stakeholders is there are bottlenecks that has to be agreed upon. So he needs to bring the stakeholders on board, including the public. They agree on guidelines like step 1, step 2, step 3, with the timelines so that everybody is on board.
Yeah.
And I was actually telling someone that this is going to be a flop. So you can even see the DP is not agreeing with him. And I believe also other people might not maybe have spoken by now, but it's actually coming to be that people are still going to fight this, including some of the cronies within the private sector. So my recommendation would be come up with a plan, involve the stakeholders, and agree on step-by-step implementation. And I think that would be the best way to go about it. But for now, especially after the DP had prayed recently to his God, it's going to be really a tough time for Sakaja. It's going to be a tough time for him, but I think this is one of the possibly prayer lines that the DP put across to his God. Wish him all the best. Bring stakeholders on board and then implement one by one.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Peter says, it's about time to remove the matatus from the CBD. Let the matatu circles invest in high-capacity buses to reduce congestion. Abdullah says what?
Abdullah says, I support the move. We need a peaceful city, a decongested city, a clean city, and a city free from thugs. Sakaja can do it, and he is able.
This is going to take a while. I mean, just like Moses has said, there's an authority called NAMATA, okay? The Nairobi Metropolitan Transport Authority, that looks not just at transport within Nairobi, but within the Nairobi metropolis, which stretches all the way into Kitengela, into Ngong, into Machakos as well, towards Muranga and towards Naivasha. So it looks at all that. Namata is there. So we have Namata, we have NTSA, we have the Ministry of Transport, we have the Minister for Transport, we have the County of Nairobi and the other county governments of Kiambu, Kajiado, Machakos, going into Muranga to some extent, and all this. How are all these working together? And I think that's where the conversation ought to be. So this ought to be the way the Deputy President is saying no. He should actually be coming up with a solution and saying, actually, hold on.
What can we do?
How about? Because I have been given the job of coordinating county governments. How about I call in the governors of these areas and tell them, let's sit? How about I call in Namata and I call in Kipchumba Murkomen and I call in the others and I tell them, all right, how about we work on a program that stretches not just 5 years, where we can see results in 5 years for elections, but 15 years, 20 years. We begin now. We put it in place. Namata has the plans on the Nairobi metropolis and how it should look like in terms of transport. We talk about all these things, light rain, bus rapid transport, cycling lanes, this and the other. What can we start with implementation? Where can we begin?
Where can it begin? Look, and the thing is, just like you're saying, the plans must be all-inclusive. And this is the thing, that half the work when it comes to something as delicate as this is that the buy-in from everybody who is involved across sector has to be 100%, or at least has to appear to be 100%. But the buy-in is just as important. That's like 50% of your work that must be done. The implementation of actually moving things, if you ask me, just because of the delicacy of this thing, is the majority of the work. That those who are involved, Namata, the organizations, the associations, because this thing is a huge monster that needs to be dealt with, and it has many heads. Most of the work is getting the buy-in from a lot of these folks to say, okay, guys, look at the good of the city overall. And if you have a city that works, you then, as an association or a sector, will benefit.
Yeah.
You have no loss to make here with operating within a working city. You're making losses when the city is not working. And so if you have buy-in from these folks, half your work is done. These bumping of heads that we are seeing now is because there's no buy-in. They've not been converted.
And we'll keep pushing. We'll keep doing this. Sakaja will not succeed in this move to move this. He may just get, for the first X number of months, Matatus moving. They will be back. Sonko tried it. They came back. Kidero tried it. They came back. It has been tried before. Kimunya tried it. They came back. Before him, Michuki had tried it. It's...
You know, Eric, just anecdotally speaking, it's a simple fact that privately owned cars are the majority of vehicles on our roads, not matatus.
No.
Okay? So, you are going to have this conversation. You must have a comprehensive conversation about it. It's not just matatus, it's vehicles. Because to argue that it is the matatus that causes the congestion, that is a false argument. It's a completely false argument. Yes. And that's where you bring in the so-called experts. Now, this gentleman that he has brought in as an advisor, again, he has his work cut out for him.
Completely.
And he will be judged harshly.
Yep.
Yes.
He's called Professor Washington Ocheng.
Yes.
He is from the Imperial College in London. He's a big man in the UK. He's been given more and more roles. He is said to have been one of the people who designed the London transport system.
Good thing, isn't it?
So he's got the experience.
In London.
In London, of doing that.
Yes.
In London.
And it is successful.
Yep.
So we're seeing how we can color photocopy it.
And bring it here.
Yes.
Charles Hinga, the PS for housing, also has experience of working around the same thing in South Africa. Higher. Let's see how it moves. Kiwi.
Kiwi is saying that you can get school fees this month. Even as we round up this conversation, how about you take a trip over to your nearest supermarket and get a tin of Kiwi black shoe polish? And once you do that, under the lid, you will see there is a code. You will take that code and you will send it to *459*5#. You get airtime or bundles instantly and an opportunity to get into the draw, which could see you winning school fees worth 35,000 shillings of school fees. Yeah? Actual school fees.
Money. That goes to pay school fees.
Exactly. You could do that. Step up and shine with Kiwi until the 7th of February. Do it. Do it today.
Make sure you do it today. Looking at CT Muga's Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, I see it's coming up to 10 o'clock.
Yes, the watch has spoken to you correctly.
And it says that your heart is racing. You need to get out of the studio. I don't know why it's telling you to go, but
it'll count my steps even as I leave the studio.
It'll count your steps as you leave the studio.
Yes, it will.
Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation today. Join us again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Have a lovely day. It's now 10 o'clock.